All right, all right. Well, my good people, we are back for another open court discussion live in the Counselor's Corner. I'm your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor, and joining me is Herb Lewis, the Big Bad Wolf.
Ow.
And hopefully, Anetta Life Coach Williams and the youngest in charge, Shaughnessy Andrews, pull up along with whomever. Well, this past Monday, we attempted to run it back with everyone's favorite princess, Princella Clark, and a few of her flunkies, but they were a no call, no show. How lame was
Cause for
that?
termination.
So we are moving on. So tonight, we will lead off with she said she rather have peace than a peace. It's all game. So lately, that has been a clear message from the ladies that they have more peace by themselves instead of dealing with these game playing, immature men. Mm, mm, mm. Well, this should be interesting to discuss on the panel as well as the chat. Moving on to the next talking point. And speaking of maturity, what age should men start dressing like a mature man? Now I got some good feedback on TikTok when I posted that, and but I'll talk about that when we get to that specific point. And number three, why most women are not happy with the 80% men give them. Yeah, you heard it, and I know some of you, but it's not really nobody on yet. But once you get on, I know you're thinking like 80%, whatever happened to I want 100%. I want 110%. Living a dream, living a damn dream. It's not realistic. Uh, so, so oh boy, more fire and heat to add to the kitchen. So please like and share our video, and don't forget to tell a family member, friend, and most important yourself to subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. All right, all right. So here we have it. What's going on with you, man?
Man, just starting to put things back together, man. The house, landscaping. And I like what the Democrats or AKA Kathy Hochul is trying to do in New York State. We have people that are not politically inclined. You may want to turn away for about 30 seconds. They send out rebate checks about 2 weeks before the Democratic primary. Very sneaky of you people in Albany. We see you working, but we ain't forgot what you done and your crony Cuomo did not too long ago. We watching.
So you said rebate checks. So who got those
Yeah,
rebate checks?
yeah. For homeowners only, of course, under the guise of helping them to pay off the taxes. Well, we wouldn't need help paying off taxes if taxes weren't so goddamn much.
Mm.
Reminds me of the brother that ran for I can't remember what elected position it was. It was somewhere in New York State, and the party was the rent is too goddamn high. In my case, yeah, the mortgage is too goddamn high.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we watching. We watching. Those of us who are politically astute, we watching you, New York. We watching.
yeah. And for me, this whole summer's been a blur, a whole blur. I can't believe in 2 weeks these kids will be back at school. You couldn't tell me it was just June 16th the other day. So it's probably just a microcosm of life. Like time doesn't stand still. It just keeps moving and moving and moving. And as you get older, it seems like it just goes faster and faster, except when you watching the clock at work, ready to get up. But that's really never the case, like in the school setting, because it's so fast paced and so much going on. Really, not never a dull moment, at least at the middle school level. But also another thing that's bothering me is disturbing. Um, and I know most people seen it. And I think they're looking for his brother Talib Makib. The he's a football player, and his brother must supposedly shot the guy, the coach or something, um, at the football game in Texas. What the hell is y'all problem, man? Like for real, like this shit is getting out of hand. That at youth sporting events, that damn parents come there and can't put your ego and pride aside to let kids enjoy themselves. Now you got continuous trauma, probably for the rest of their lives. And for what? For what? I don't even know what it was all about. I didn't read up. I seen, images of it and read a little bit like the caption, but I don't think I wanted to read it because I'm just it's disgusting. It's disgusting, man. And rest in peace to that coach's for that coach and also his family members that are grieving when you really don't expect that you're going to end up dying when you're doing something good out there coaching the youth. And that's the reality of it in this day and age. And that'll be another reason why um, many black men we say, "Nah, I ain't coaching no more. I ain't doing none of that shit no more because I'm not putting myself at risk." Because I mean, I know it just was a couple years ago. It happened in Buffalo, New York. So it's and you can see the behaviors at the games, whatever, with some of the parents and it ain't always guys. It's sometimes the moms too, yelling, being loud, reckless, but don't know a damn thing of what's going on, but just constantly making an uproar. We have to do better. We got to let the kids be kids, let them play, let them enjoy themselves, let them have fun. Obviously, nobody likes to lose, and I'm not one. I'm not one that believes in it's just all for fun. Why not win? Maybe when you're like 5 or 6 years old, uh, you really don't know the concept like that. But once you start hitting 10, 11, 12, it's on. People like to kids like to win, and I believe we should put them in a position to win. What's going on, Officer Charles? What's going on, Doug? Thanks for joining. So that just that was disturbing to me, and anytime you see stuff like that, it's not right. Herb, you got anything you read up on that, or did you see it?
No, you're mentioning this is the first I've heard of it actually. But to follow up what you said, there was a situation a few years ago where somebody at a youth sports game, football game, matter of fact, brandished a handgun. Nobody was shot, but it all started out over some childhood musings between players, and it evolved from there because the adults had got involved. And like you said, it makes people not want to get involved in youth sports. It's supposed to be for fun, and I've been involved in youth sports for a time as a mentor and coach as well. And there's just some things that at my age, I really don't feel the need to be around. And unnecessary violence is one of them. And yes, there is sometimes that violence is necessary, but generally around youth sports is not one of those times.
It's like with some of those dads, it's like almost like they're trying to live through their kids' um, eyes and trying to make up because they wasn't successful, so now they're acting a damn fool instead of just sitting there enjoying the game, cheering, giving some some support, reassurance, maybe at if you get opportunity to yell at your child, son or daughter, at halftime or something. If stuff like that, just staying in their ear to stay positive and put out effort. But some of the stuff is just it's like you can't be on the opposite end going against those people who's there who has another agenda in mind. Um, so that's just it's just wild. All right. Well, we're gonna jump right into this, and I suppose we'll have a couple more people joining us. But again, and this will come better when one of the ladies join us. But the first talking point, she says she'd rather have a piece than a piece. It's all game. So, Herb, what you think? Like, and that's one of the messages that your girl been throwing out, Princella, and a lot of other women, like even some of the women in the counselor's corner, like I'm okay being single. If y'all don't like this or that about us, just leave us alone, and all that type of stuff. So, what's your what's your take on them pretty much saying like we're a nuisance, and some of us like they rather just be alone.
You know what the irony of so many women making that statement is a lot of them fit into two categories, one or two categories, maybe three. One, they have children. So their need for a man, like they said, is non-existent. Two, they're generally at least 35 years of age or older. And most of them have both of them in common. And a lot of people out there are probably saying, well, why does it matter about the age component? Let's take our royalty, if we will, because I refuse to give her any burn. And let's look at her situation. She fits both categories.
Mm.
She has a child and she's reached that age. Now, I'm not going to get into the personal aspects. I'm going to keep it surface. Most people, doesn't matter what your gender is, fit into the category of once bitten, twice shy. That means you'll try something once, and if it causes you some pain or discomfort, you're less likely to try it again. Relationships also fit that bill. We're not going to talk about men. We're going to do it like royalty wants to, and we're going to keep it exclusive. So all these women that are coming forth with this vitriol for men that they don't need them in their life, that's cool. You have the opportunity, the financial means, and the ability to go create an environment, a city, a community devoid of men. Do it. No one is going to stop you. No one is going to legislate against you. Also, no one is going to help you. We see now with the in the wake of COVID, how governments worldwide are cutting back on a lot of things. One of the things we see now, at least in the United States of America, I can't speak to the rest of the world in terms of what their reproduction um, stance on abortion is overturning the Roe v. Wade. You also see coming on the heels of that legislation that's going to hold men financially responsible for the financial um, situation of a woman who's conceived. Some say that's to counter what has happened with Roe v. Wade. No, that's because governments are cutting back on all the domestic support they have been given because they could no longer afford those programs. This is why I mentioned about the Kathy Hochul and the rebate check, because that money's got to come from somewhere because governments are tapped out. COVID tapped out a whole lot of governments. A whole lot of people lost jobs and they're looking for somewhere to get that revenue from. And as usual, they're going to target men. Doesn't matter how well the women are doing financially, they're always going to look for men as sources of revenue. So now with the heartbeat bill, the support of women from that aspect, the cutting back, all these women talk about they don't need men. Fine. I want you to pull out your cell phone and start deleting. I want you to go through your social media and all the men that support you, especially the ones that do it financially since y'all so independent, start deleting. And keep deleting to any resemblance of the individual that has the chromosomes X and Y, they're gone. Don't half step. Do it all the way. Don't tell us. Show us. So when we go through your social media, we see that there are no men in your lives. That includes your uncles, your fathers, your brothers, and your nephews. Oh, and like former Vice President Pence used to say, we got an open door policy, so we're gonna have our wives and girlfriends looking, so y'all can't start no bullshit
Mm.
about this and that. Because the number one way to wealth for women still is through marriage and divorce. So let's just keep it real.
Mm. Well, my thought on that is, like you said, some of them, been through pain, and like y'all always say, um, choose better options, and most people, they kind of, people that they talk to are similar,
Mm-hmm.
so they might end up running into the same type of guy. And we've always talked about this before, and you always mention it, like, do something different, do something out of the, go outside the box, and try meeting someone, people at different places. It just can't be work. uh the few guys that roll up in church because they trying to impress somebody for that time being, uh and the little tavern on the corner. um you have to try something different, or try to reinvent yourself to make changes. And then you may run into some different type of individuals, but to say, just leave us alone, because when you think about that, uh and talking about you want peace, isn't the ability to make good sweet love, isn't that peace? Isn't that healthy? um that's what I always thought. um as far as that, like far as blood pressure, stress level, and things of that nature, is good. So I don't know how much peace you could have when you're rolling around in the bed, sleeping on your damn hands, or pulling out, you know, whatever you name them, your little dildo, whatever you name them. But hey, to each his own.
Hey, it's that. It's funny. I listened to the live stream she had with brother Muhammad, and she was talking about how good the rose works, man. Hmm. Inventions by men. Mm. Makes you wonder. But all those things, man. It's funny how once people, doesn't matter what your gender is, get to a level of comfort, they start to turn their backs on all the people and the things that made that success possible,
Yeah,
as if they don't need them anymore and they don't want them anymore. And that's, like I said, I'm cool. I'm at a point in my life where I just sit back now and I just like, okay, I don't offer no resistance, no muss, no fuss. I'm like, hey, if you want to go that road, I'll help you pave it. I'll help you pack your bags. Go, no, I can't do that now because y'all don't want men's help. Y'all cool with that. Yeah, man, it's just funny. And like I said, I understand. Some people once bitten, twice shy. You fill up that horse, you don't want to get back on. Cool.
but you are
Nobody should
right about
force
that,
anybody.
because I don't know, like, when guys, when they come up, they, most of them, unless you was just that dude that just got tormented throughout your childhood and your life, and now you rolling in money and you may act a little different. But guys who kind of, they're, they're normal, whatever normal is socially, and 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 they come up, they still gonna mess with some of the same people. They're not gonna change up. But hey, ladies, sometimes when y'all come up, yeah, y'all get real brand new, and real lippy once you get to that point. But when you're not at that level, you real you real humble, uh Hey, y'all don't like the word, but submissive, uh, and have more tolerance and more patience and more understanding. But once y'all get to a certain level, it's like the hell with them, the hell with that, whatever. Not the way to be. Wrong answer on that one.
And I'm gonna follow that up with this. I said last week that a man prizes loyalty above anything else. And I'll say it again. If a man found his boy doing a good female, and I don't mean you females who think you're good, I mean you females who actually have shown through your actions that you're quality, he gonna look at his man a certain way. He's gonna help you out because he see you actually are a decent chick. And we know that once females get to a certain age, 35, that if they've been done dirty, they've been done wrong. And I don't mean by having somebody step out, I mean by having somebody step out and do something dirty, bring something back home that's incurable, bring kids into the relationship that do some permanent damage. That man is going to extend some help at the possible detriment to the relationship he had with that boy, because that boy has shown that he's dirty. The last thing that a righteous man wants is a deal with a dirty man, because if that man's dirty to somebody he's sharing his bed with, just imagine what he's going to do to the man that he's breaking bread with. If he can't do right at home, he can't do right in the streets. I don't care who he is. I don't care what he's doing. That cat ain't no good, and brothers gonna run from that cat if they got any sense. Just put that out there.
Hello, good evening, another life coach Will.
Texas bound.
Yeah, big Texas.
I'm
You
sorry,
ain't
I
melting
was
in that heat,
late.
are you?
Huh?
I said you ain't melting in that heat, are you?
Listen, today was cool. It was 98 today. It was cool.
Cold 98.
It was cool. Listen, it was cool because I had a denim jacket on.
Oh
Mm.
damn.
I think my body has gotten adjusted
Oof.
to the weather because I was a little chilly today and I wore a denim jacket literally all day
Mm.
until
Wow.
I walked into my house and was like, "Whoa, it's kind of cold in here." But yeah, today was nice. It was 98 today.
I can't deal with I can't take it. Couldn't take
You
it.
gotta come and visit me, David. Don't be acting like that.
I do want to come down that way. I never been to Texas.
It's
So
nice.
yeah, I heard that. So I definitely want to roll through there. But I just that every day that type of weather, not every day, but like in the
Well, the rest of
summertime.
this week is triple digits.
Yeah. Mm.
You just drink your
I, I,
water. You just drink your water. I lost 12 more pounds since I've been here.
Okay,
shit.
probably can definitely get a
I'm
good
gonna
shape.
join you on that journey, but just not in that manner. Because, like, actually, it's funny. Like today, I actually went grocery shopping for like the first time in like 3 months. Like literally, everything I've been doing has been takeout. Either
Don't we
one of
know
my
from Monday
favorite
nights?
places. I got the wings already in the refrigerator, man. You already know. But I've been looking at my expenditures, man, and it's just ridiculous. So I need to get back to what well, the savvy way of living. But man, just I I finally turned on my AC last week because it got so hot up in my house, man. I was just like, I can't deal with it. So 100 degrees, like consistently, I'm
Hmm.
not built for that weather. That's why I like
My
the winter.
car, my car broke down because they said my car couldn't take the heat.
Yeah.
Because the guy, when they put my car up on the thing, they was like, "Is this car from up north?" I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "This car is all rusty under here. It's water damage and everything." They was like, so I'm watching them rear my car up, and I can see the rust falling from underneath the car. Probably would have never happened in Buffalo, New York, but because of the heat and everything, and just the moisture of the heat and everything under the car, the transmission was pulling, and they was like, "You can't fix this." It was pulling, and it was making everything up under there just rattle like glass.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, I had to buy a new car today.
Oh, oh.
Y'all feel my pain. So look,
Actually,
if
I
y'all want to
do.
be a blessing to me, y'all can go to my Cash App and you can Cash App Anetta, Texas 601. Anetta, Texas 601. From the house, the furnishing the house and buying a new car, I'm drinking water and eating sandwiches without
That,
meat.
that ain't what I be seeing. You be eating good. You be good eating good over there.
I'm eating sandwiches without meat for the next 45, 60 days. So if y'all want to bless a sister, y'all can. Let me not say that because next thing the dudes get on here and be like, I told you she was broke. I told you she was mediocre. I told you she wasn't nothing.
Well, we did was waiting for a lady to join us to talk about this that first talking point about women wanting peace and instead of a peace. And we were just kind of saying that once a woman get a certain age, 35 and over, and they, gain more, um, become more established in their careers, that's when that talk comes into play.
That's what you think?
Well, it's what we see. Let's look at all the people who have ever come on this come on this platform and who've said it. Like I said earlier, they have two things in common. They have at least one child and they've reached the age of 35. Those are generally the two markers at which a lot of women have been through some nonsense, whether it's been something they created or something the guy has created. And it got to the point now they say, you know what? I've reached academic success, which is allowing me to reach financial success. I have my child. I don't need or want for a man for anything else.
Mm-hmm. That's what you believe.
No, it's not what I believe. That's what I said. The people that have come on this platform and who have said that, they match those two things. Think about it. Just think about who's come on the platform and who's actually voiced that they don't need a man. Do they fit those criteria?
Hmm. I think when y'all miss, I think y'all miss you what people say when we say we don't need a man. I don't think that's what is saying we don't need. I don't know no woman that would absolutely say I don't need a man. Okay, I think women what they're stating is they don't need a man to take care of them because they're providing for themselves. But I don't think they're saying I don't need a man. The nature of us is to need each other. Okay, so I think that sometimes we use the wrong words and then the words end up biting us in the butt because a man be like, well, you said you ain't need no man. And that's not technically what they mean. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get that little urge at night, unless you like the same thing you want a man. Okay? So I think that we get to this point in our life with our career and everything, because I know I can only speak for me with all that I have going on with my career, with travels, with the ability to have a social life on top of that. Um, I desire to have my peace not interrupted. So, which means I desire for you not to have this demand for me that would make me have to be something that I'm not. Okay. And I think that's where women are now. They're in a place where they're like, listen, wait a minute. I don't raise my children. I have grandchildren. I'm almost at the end of my career. I'm traveling. I think I'm somewhat successful right now. I don't want to be caught up in a relationship where I feel like I have to nurture somebody else to their success. That's what it is.
So when you say nurture, like, so what type of man are these guys when you think of nurturing, like which what
I can't
like
date nobody that's needy. I just don't. I don't have the emotional capacity to date anybody that's needy. I'm just keeping it real. I don't have the emotional capacity to date somebody that's needy. For one, I'm not an emotional person. I'm not sensitive and emotional, touchy like that. So you gonna get me and you gonna be like, well, babe, I want us to sit here and cuddle and watch TV. I'm gonna do it for a good hot 10 minutes and I'm be like, okay.
So that means well, tell me more about when you say men. You don't like nobody that's needy. So what would be a needy guy?
Somebody that gotta see you every day. Somebody that want to cuddle all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody that demands a lot of attention. Okay, that's a needy man for me.
So, see, and that's why sometimes we're in a catch-22 type of thing because you hear some women they want to be cuddled. I mean, not all the time. Nobody wants that all the time, but they would settle for that a great deal of time. And then if you're a guy that's got your own things going on and you don't you know put the time in to do it, you don't win in those situations either.
That's true.
So the whole thing is about balance, and it seemed like we just all off balance in these relationships.
I think we are, but I also think that again, like I said, you gotta know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? If you know you're dealing with somebody who they don't want all that, they don't want all that, special attention and all that extra stuff. You gotta just know who you're dealing with.
Okay.
And then the woman also has to compromise because if you dating a man and he's a cuddler and he is touchy feely like that, you got to be able to embrace that, and you got to be able to be open minded to it because some men like that, and you can't be dating somebody you're not willing to give them what they're looking for.
But of course, most women probably would say guys that's like that got mommy issues. Their mother never gave them a hug or stuff like that. So that's what they're looking for.
I think that stuff is stupid when people say that. That's so stupid. To me, I think that's the stupidest thing when somebody say, "Oh, he got mommy issues," and da 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 da. Then I'll turn around and I'll be telling him, "Tell her she got daddy issues."
Yeah. So
I think sometimes people just say stuff just to say it. They don't have no. I think people just say stuff sometimes, and they say it out of thinking that they have some validity in what they're saying, and it has no base. It's not base. It's not a fruitful conversation. It's not even a fruitful statement. And I think sometimes, like you said, you got to know your resource, know who you're dealing with, know who you're connected to, know who you're talking to. You can't just sit here and assume that a person understands where you're coming from.
yeah.
And you gotta be, even for a relationship, because it's called collecting data and dating, you gotta be open-minded enough to understand what the other person need is. If you're not willing to understand the other person's need, then you should not be looking at a relationship. Because a relationship is about checks and balances. It's also about, compromise. People hate that word, but two people are different. So at some point, you're going to have to compromise with the other person. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely. And
most guys that are touchy-feely have good parents. That's very true. Most men that are touchy-feely, they are very well-rounded. Okay? So that's why I hate when women say that. Oh, he touchy-feely, he got mommy issues. No, his mother showed him how to express his affection in the most decent and respectful way. So I disagree when women say that. No, you got daddy issues because you don't know how to accept the man for his vulnerability.
Oh shit! Whew, I don't know if we got enough wine or kegs to open that one up, boy, because that for a whole lot of
And y'all
people.
know the ladies on here don't be liking me. I got a whole lot of hate.
But see, this is the thing that we got into with
The
royalty.
men don't like me because I'm cocky, and the ladies don't like me because I say what needs to be said.
Hey, I'm a proponent of shooting from the hip. And like I was saying, this is the thing that we're getting into with royalty. The things that she was speaking to are the antithesis of what you just said, Anetta.
Yeah,
And
I like her.
her, that's fine. I don't have a problem with her or what she says. The only thing I always tell people is be careful of charlatans because when they tell you half a story, the thing that usually you don't know is the thing that usually hurts you.
Right.
And that's what I was saying earlier. Like you eloquently put it, that women don't use the correct language when they're saying they don't need a man.
Right.
Because when we hear that as men, that's all encompassing for us. Because if I tell somebody I don't need you, that means I don't need you. That means I don't want you around. That means I don't want you calling, texting. I don't want you checking up on me on social media. I want you to forget I ever existed, like delete, erase.
He's
Done, gone.
delete, erase. I'm gone.
Right. That means I don't need you checking on me. I don't want you checking on me. That means if you see me coming across the street, treat me like a antebellum slavery and you a Caucasian female. Get your ass ghost.
Wow.
And women don't seem to understand that statement is a finite statement.
Wow.
So don't say it if you don't mean it. Because a cat like me, I'ma hold you to it. I'ma stick you like crazy glue.
You do have some men that be like, "Oh, that's how you feel." Oh, okay. All right, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
We good.
But then again,
Yep.
you have some women like to keep those type of guys that they feel is needy around, to keep them in their back pocket, um, just because they know that these dudes gonna probably do anything that they ask. So when they want to be bothered, that's when they decide to be bothered with them. And I guess if you not confident in yourself as a guy, you'll go for it every time. Because there's
You're
women that
not
got
on
guys
Facebook.
who
You're not on Facebook.
no, I mean I'm on house arrest on Facebook. I can't go live. I'm on
Are you
house
serious?
arrest. Yeah.
Facebook for the last 6, 7 months, they've been pardon the comparison, the use of the word and of the phrase. They've been acting like the FBI going to Mar-a-Lago. They've been on it.
Remember they locked me down because I was like, man, shoot, I'm end up shooting up something. They locked me down.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't talking about that. I was in pain.
Well,
But yeah, I will say this. Um, a lot of times, us women mess up extremely good men just by our demeanor and our attitude. A lot of times, us women damage good men just by our attitudes because of the previous man. We ain't never healed and got over what our kid's father did to us, or our ex-husband. So then when this guy come around who knows how to be a gentleman and want to treat you with some value, you don't understand what he's doing because you don't even understand your own value. And he trying to show you what your value is, and you looking at him like, you just like any other man. You just want what I got between my legs. And he looking at you like, no, because if that was me, I could have got that from you a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But no, I'm trying to dig and unpack you so I can be able to enjoy you.
yeah, or he calls you too much, texts you too much, or whatever the case is. So that's
And
an
see,
issue.
me, I got the opposite problem. I don't really like all of that, but I also like men who are consistent and persistent. CP is B. Persistent, but consistent. They got to come together. You can't be persistent and you're not consistent. And you can't be consistent and not persistent. So my thing is, I want you to desire me and be intrigued by me, but I don't want you to be overdosed.
Do you think sometimes women cause guys to stop being consistent by the way you respond?
I think so. I'm a self-sabotager. So I know that me personally, I like this guy I started talking to about 5 weeks ago here. I literally said to him, we were sitting across the table eating dinner, and he had said something to me. And I said, well, I don't want no relationship for real like that. I'm just trying to, get to know you. I don't really want no relationship for real. And believe it or not, when I made that statement, the more and more time we started spending together, I was like, yo, this dude is a really nice guy. But 3 weeks later, he brought it up to me. He said, well, you enjoy me, I'm enjoying you, but you don't really want no relationship. I can't piggyback on that now. Because I put that out there. I don't care how nice he is. He's a gentleman. I can't piggyback because I threw that out in the atmosphere. So now I got to eat that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I was like, yeah, you right. Ain't nothing I can say. I can't be like, well, no, I like you. And I changed my mind. Because now he's going to be like, not only do you make comments, but you also are emotionally unstable.
Well, we got
bitter. So now I gotta eat that thing and I gotta walk in that. Yeah, okay, I don't want a relationship. I don't care how nice he is or whatever. But he got some stuff with him that I really ain't fond of. I don't want to really entertain as well. But still, we gotta be careful because what if he was a really, really nice guy that I was really, really interested in? Now I threw something in the atmosphere that I can't take back. Because one thing about men, you guys are very simple. And that's not in the negative way, but simplicity is y'all life. It's A is for apple, B is for boys, C is for California, and don't do nothing different. We make things complicated because we throw those emotions in there, we throw the attitude in there, we do our little middle leg persuasion, we do all that stuff, and so then y'all sitting there like, whoa, hold up, I don't know who I'm with right now, and it don't have nothing to do with the eyelashes and the wigs. You just don't change to 5 different personalities within 2 days. So I don't know who I'm talking to, who I'm with. So it's us as women have to learn how to be consistent and persistent as well. But we can't be asking for something that we're not willing to give.
sometimes less is more. Well, we got BGS on here. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, pretty good. I would say to that what she just said. Men amongst men deal in trust, right? Okay, men really believe your word is your bond. Okay, what you say is what you mean, right? Because women expect a man's word to be his bond. Okay,
Yeah.
because if you got women don't like a guy who's going to change his word or what he says or what he means every day or every hour. Okay, it's not going to be around that kind of guy. In fact, most women don't like to be around women because they do that, because they're flighty like that, and they'll say one thing and the next day they'll mean something else. Men don't deal that way because with men, that could be life or death with men, and men know that. So what you say is what you mean.
Dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, it was women. I wish women could just for 6 months walk in the shoes of men. Okay, in the world of men.
I don't want to.
One said just to see what it was, so you can actually understand it, right? Because you'll understand why men are a certain way and train a certain way and logical a certain way, and especially black men, especially on the street, man. If you say something, okay, men take that as your word. And women don't understand that. If you dating a guy, you said, you know what, I'm not really into relationships because I want to be free. I want to be this kind of stuff. Automatically in his head, he's gonna say, boop, I need to put her in this category.
Yeah.
And once he puts you in this category, it's very difficult to get out of the category. Because men have, I need to write the book. There's 3 categories for men, right? And you know what I'm gonna say, right? There's 3 categories that men have for women, right? Is friends with benefits jump off, right? The girlfriend and wife, right? And there's qualifications for all 3. And if you put yourself in one of those categories, it's very difficult for that man to take you out and put you in another. Okay, because once he sees you in a certain category, you got to really do something, do some kind of work to get yourself out of that category into the next. So if you said you don't want to, you don't want a relationship, you're just here to have fun, blah blah blah, he's gonna say, boop, okay, she's in friends with benefits category.
Mhm.
She's not a girlfriend, she's not a wife. And when
Yeah,
once you do that, then it's very difficult to move it. It's very difficult for a woman to move once a man sees you as a friend, okay, to move to girlfriend and then to move to wife. You really got to do something to move those categories. Men are like that. Men are like that for a reason.
yeah.
But I really came up here to say about the touchy feely, right? The men that like to hug and stuff like that. That has to be
Mhm.
trained from childhood, okay? Because
Hmm.
most middle class or lower middle class Southern people are not really touchy feely. Because I wasn't raised that way. My mother didn't hug me that much, right? Very seldom does she express her emotions that way. Okay, so when I got older, okay, I got jealous because I saw all the other people that were raised that way, and I did not want my children to not have that experience. So I raised my children differently than I was raised because I wanted well-rounded children. Because I know a lot of women, men, especially boys that grew up that way, they're really stoic and they really don't want to be touched. They want to express their emotions, but they don't know how. And that really so when women see a touchy feely guy or a guy that likes to cuddle or likes to hug, okay, he was raised that way. His mother had to raise him that way because that's where you learn it from.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I definitely fit that dynamic. There are times where I don't want to be touched, but I will touch.
Hmm.
And like you said, my mother was my mother was, and for all intents and purposes, my mother was a rock. She just didn't play.
Yeah,
She didn't touch us. She
yeah.
wasn't a hands-on mother, even though I was in foster care for a lot of my developmental years.
Hmm.
But you always knew she cared because of the things she do and the
Right,
sacrifices so she
right,
made, and she took on the aspects of a father because there was never a male father figure in our lives to
right,
that degree.
right.
So she took on both aspects of it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until she got to be older and needed us to care for her that you actually saw the female side come out. She was willing to let people do things for her.
You know what the funny thing is, right? Because I come from a family that didn't hug, or didn't greet each other like that. And once I taught my children to enter a room and hug me and hug their uncles and their grandparents and stuff like that, it started to change the whole family dynamic.
Yeah, because my family, we spread all over. I got a brother that's out in Kansas. I got family
Uh,
down in outside of Atlanta and Garden City. I got a brother that's down there where Dave is. And the first thing we do when we see each other is we hug.
right.
There's 8 boys, 3 girls. So the boys, the men now, we slap each other up, hug. There's absolutely no question
Yeah.
in that family where the love is. We
Yeah.
might have our issues. We might fight. Oh, I'm not talking to him again. Yo, your brother did this. Oh, some
Yeah.
shady shit.
Right.
No matter what. And that was evident when we had our mother's memorial service that, all the kids was there. There was no fuss.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were at the oldest brother's house here, nothing but love throughout the house. And you could just feel it. You could just sense it. People walk in the house and they're like, yo, this is a family Lewis Curse
Yeah.
gathering.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this is a
Yep.
question I want to ask BGS based on we talking
Hmm.
about the hugging, compassion, and all that. So we've
Hmm.
been the last couple of weeks been going back and forth with someone, and they're saying, saying that, putting out the message that men are incapable of love. So what's your take
Okay.
on that?
Okay. This is something that's really that I have Dr. Johnson um, researching for me because he's got the PhD, so he's better to write the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And we're exploring what we call male emotional labor. Okay. And male expression and male emotional labor, male love is not, in this society, we think that only female expressed love is love, right? And it's not. Okay. Um, how men show love to their offspring, how men show love to other men, how men show love and carry and stuff like that to other men, right? It's different, right? Um, everybody see Officer and a Gentleman?
Yes.
Uh, okay, remember when the recruit got caught cheating with the selling off the belts and stuff like that. He was trying to get him to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took him and he marched him around. He sprayed water on him. He had them do sit-ups and do all kinds of stuff. And because he wanted him to quit because he's a bad apple, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he wanted the guy to break. And so right at the end when he broke and he said, I have no place else to go, right?
Yeah.
You could see the sergeant kind of break down and say, you know what? Come on, man. All right. Come on. We're gonna make you better.
Yeah.
Just get up. In other words, that's a man showing love. Okay. That's how men show love. Men show love to other men and their children by making them better. Okay. Sometimes it's not expressed as, they hug and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, women don't see how men express love or emotional labor, right? Uh, women, I get all these complaints. I mean, for like 30 years, I get complaints about why does my mother, why does my sister, why does my girlfriend, my wife come in, drop her stuff, and just start yakking for like an hour and a half, right, nonstop, right? Just she needs an emotional release. She has to download into a male brain, right? And you're that person. She can't do it with her girlfriend. She can't do it with somebody else. It's got to be a man that she trusts. So she's downloading, right? And you're sitting there trying to ready to poke your eyeballs out. But I said, hey, that's your mother, that's your sister, that's a woman that you care for, right? That is your emotional labor.
Yeah.
That's your emotional labor. You have to go through I know you don't want to hear drone on about whatever 50,000 things emotions that she's had through, that she's gone through that day. That's your job, boss. That's your emotional labor. That's what you got. That's your emotional labor that you put up. That's just one little thing, right? But the thing is, it goes unnoticed because it's not expressed the way females express emotions. It's
I
not.
mean,
It's not expressed the way women express love. If that makes sense.
and I think my issue with it with women, sometimes they could take a shortcut with some of the stories that they tell. Like
Oh yeah,
sometimes,
well
like
they don't tell all the story.
like it's a way that you could have said all that, and you could have cut 20 minutes off the conversation. But I
No,
understand you got.
no, the thing is, okay. The thing is, and this is something that's been said. I think there's a book called "Men Are from Mars and Women Are from Venus," right? Women
Yes.
are
Yeah.
when women are telling a story, they're not telling a logical story for information, right? It's an expression of emotions, right? And you said a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? They're painting an emotional picture for you. They're not trying to express express what the story is or whatever it is, because that's not important. It's how they feel about it, right? And I tell guys all the time, right? If you want to shorten it up, right? If you really want to shorten up the story, right? Okay, interject with, how do you feel about that, baby? And then she got to stop for a second and figure out how she feels, right? And then she'll say a few more things, and then said, okay, now you got out how you feel about it. Now what do you think about it? And then that's a switch, right? That's a switch from a female brain, emotional center, to a male brain, which is a logic center, right? And then she'll
Mhm.
think about it, and she'll come to a conclusion that'll actually shorten up the whole process.
Yeah,
Or
Because you
you could
got
just be like me and just live alone.
you could, but say that with you, some guys want a pair bond, whatever. Because like I said, I ran a female channel for like 3 years, man, and I had to understand how females express. Okay, what are they trying to express? Because my panel is about getting to the truth, right? So the first thing, they're females, right? I don't do on my male panels. It's like, nah, I want to hear about how you feel. What do you think, man? Go right to the shortcut. Give me the bullet points. Tell me what you think first, and then you can come back and tell me how you feel. Right? With the women, you got to do the opposite. Okay, so you're gonna tell your story. Okay, how do you feel about that? What are you feeling when sister girl knocked your papers off the desk? Okay, what were you feeling at that time? Right? Okay, and she'll express in words how she feels. Right? They said, okay, now why do you think that happened? Why do you think that happened? So you have to go from feeling to thinking, right? Where men, you have to do the opposite. You got to go from thinking to feeling, because you're dealing with different structured brains, right?
Now that's
Men,
not, but that's not every woman. That's
I do. We're talking in general. We're not talking about every woman. I know that there's a small quantity. In fact, I know one of my good friends. She's a genetic engineer, right? And she was trained in science from the time she was like 10, because her father's an engineer. So she's been in science since she's like 9, 10 years old. So she has a male pattern thought process, right? And she had to learn how to do the other things, right? How learn how to tap into her emotions. It was there. She just never learned how to tap into it because it was never required for a job. And it's
That's
different. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's something Nicole Ali does well.
Yeah, Nicole Ali does well. Yeah. Yeah, she's very, very, very extremely logical. One of the smartest people I've ever met. Okay, you know, she's got 2 grants, federal grants right now worth $8 million right now. That she's
Yeah,
working through
she's
project.
yeah,
She's brilliant. She's brilliant.
yeah. The when I found out she was pregnant, it kind of just like blew my mind. I was like, "You're what?
Yeah.
You?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It really did. And for people who don't know who BGS and myself are talking about, there's a lady in that he knows that
Yeah.
I've become acquainted with. She's what field is she in? She's in the medical
She,
field, I believe.
no, she's a genetic engineer. In other words, all the
Okay.
medicines and stuff like that, where she manipulates genes and stuff like that to actually cure cancer and stuff like that. That's what she does.
Yeah. So I mean, when her and Dr. Dunbar get together, all I can do is sit back and listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of like you when Gigi and Dr. Johnson get together, we just sit back and listen. There's nothing I can add. All I can do is learn.
Talking a different language. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing the thing is, and I want to say this to Annetta, right? For a woman to mature, she's got to get she has to go to her male side and get more logical, right? For a man to mature, he's got to do the opposite, right? He has to take the logical brain and he has to do something that he's afraid of, which is tap into his emotional side, right? And control it. Okay. Most men tap into the emotional side and it's uncontrolled. Okay. So you have to tap into what I call your anima, right? And if I tell guys, if you really want to understand women, right, you really want to get good with talking to women, okay, you got to tap into that emotional female side, right? Pimps do it all the time. They will tell you in a heartbeat, right? Okay, how do we get a woman to get out on the street and sell her body for money or whatever, right? Got to tap into understand her. I got to tap into my female side so my female side can talk to her, right? And guys that have trained to tap into that side, tap into that female side, tap into that anima, that female brain, right? A woman can be talking to him, and that female brain is translating. Okay, and she, that story don't match up. She's full of shit. Ask her this, okay? Ask her that, and it's almost like you're downloading the whole story. Nah, he didn't do that. What'd you do? You did something, right? You did something. You flirted with that guy in the store, didn't you? Well, yeah. Okay. And so you expected him not to see it. Well, yeah. Now you're trying to blame it on him like it's his fault, right? Because you got a female translating for you. And the same thing with a woman, right? I helped more than a few women, like my niece. I helped save her marriage that way, right? Because she's trying to download to her husband, and she's not understanding him, right? And he's not understanding her. So I said, if you really want to understand him, you really want him to talk to you, he's not willing, you got to learn how to talk his language. Okay. You really have to, number one, hold it down to an hour. The first thing I told her, I said, okay, eat dinner, sit down at 7 o'clock. He's going to want to play a game from 7 to 8. Say, hey, baby, this is our time for me to sit down and talk to you. Okay. 7 to 8. And she said, I said, don't try to extend it. Cut it off at 8 o'clock. And said, okay, we'll pick it up the next day. I said, it gives him time to process it, number one. Gives you time to think about it. And when you come back together the next day, then the solutions will all automatically present themselves, right? I said, so do you have to talk to him in a language that he can understand. He'll understand how you feel, okay? You have to say, you have to process, say, what do I think about this situation? And then give it to him. Tell him what you think first and then tell him how you feel. And he can process it. Most guys can do that. If most guys will guess how you can feel if you tell them what you think first.
Yes, it's typically that thoughts, feelings, then his actions.
Thought, feelings, and actions. Well, yeah, that's the brain. Okay, that's the difference between the female brain and the male brain.
Your BGS for Women channel is still up, isn't it? Information?
It's up. It's up. I've been for the last 3 years. People say you need to reboot the channel. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then finding things to talk to women that they need is different than finding things to talk to men about what they need, right? You have to approach it differently. You got to find different things. You got to, you got to work from another side. Um, and you have to use different kinds of people and information that women will accept. So
And
it's a different kind of work.
let me follow that up for people. And I know most of the listeners are probably not familiar with BGSI because I've been around it for some years in this content. There are a lot of women who have come from his school of thought or
Oh yeah,
from
yeah,
his tree.
yeah,
Concrete Rose,
yeah.
Kendra D, and there's a couple other people. And there's a lot of nonsense going on in the black manosphere, if you will, about women invading female spaces. And BGS has said this years ago that in this quote unquote gender war, they're going to have to come back to the table when the environment changes. And like I said at the top of the show, the environment is now changing. They're coming back to the table. You have a lot of men that haven't figured out how to utilize that to their advantages. This is one of the things that he's talking about with the anima and
You,
the
you, you
animus.
you know what what I'm hearing, and this is something I asked like 2 or 3 years ago when I knew that it was going to change.
I already know where
Okay,
you're going. Go ahead.
okay. What are you going? One, what are you going to ask for? One, two. How are you going to talk to them? But the thing is that what I'm finding out is after all these years, men see them coming back, they don't trust them, and that's the problem.
And that goes back to what you mentioned earlier and what we were
Right,
talking about is
right,
once you say something
right.
for a man,
Yeah,
you've built that foundation. And that
yeah,
man is going to build everything on that foundation
yeah,
that you give him afterwards,
yeah, yeah,
which is why you have to be careful with your word choice,
yeah.
especially when speaking to men. And I think this is what a lot of modern day education, if you will, is trying to do to men, is they're trying to deprogram men to not think like men.
Yeah,
So
they have
the
been. But you can only fight biology for so long.
correct, because eventually it's going to revert back to what it is.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
you can't make a snake walk. A snake is going to
yeah.
crawl, if you will, because that's what a snake's um, DNA
Well,
makes
you
it
know what?
do.
There's. I think I mentioned these two books a long time ago. The Richer Sexualism Money. Actually, a really good book, right? And this is something that's going on with educated upper class. Well, I said upper class or upwardly mobile women, right? White, especially white. Okay. Um, if you're going to be CEO, you're going to work 70 hours a week, and you want a family, then you're going to need a husband that's going to facilitate that for you, right?
Mhm.
And what Liz Mundy and the feminists have found out is that biologically, women do not like to be breadwinners. Biologically, okay, it's something that they have to be trained to do. Okay, and what they're finding out is that a lot of women. When you heard it with Kevin Samuels, a woman could be
Yeah,
making $500,000 a year. What does she want a guy? She want a
she
guy that
wants a man that's going to be making
making a
at
million
least
dollars.
1.5. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Okay, you put yourself in the position of a breadwinner for the society to work, right? For the society to work, okay, okay, you have to have breadwinners. You got to have support. You have to have a support system to have families, right? Okay, if two breadwinners get together, what's going to happen to the family? Not going to have one. Or you're going to have one that's dysfunctional. Okay.
And we see that, it's funny you say that. We see that with, and I'll give it a really good example. We see that with presidents and wives who have political aspirations. We see that
Right.
with Hillary and Bill, and now
Yeah.
we kind of see that with Obama and Michelle. You see how their kids are starting to splinter.
Well.
You don't hear a lot about it because they don't want that out there in the black media because they're supposed to be the quintessential black family.
Right.
But we see it now.
Yeah. Yeah. For feminists wanted to. Okay. There's a good book called The Morning Title IX, right, where they really lay out all the processes in the roadmap of modern feminism, right? Eliminating the gender wars, eliminate the gender roles, right? Eliminating what it means to be a man and a wife, to build more flexible people, right? That's how come I always ask my guys that are between the ages of younger than 35, okay, did you have home economics when you're like middle school and high school? And they all say yes. All say yes, and that was on purpose because they laid it out. They said once we took over the educational system in 1972, starting with Generation X, these are the things that we're going to do. We start slowly but surely taking away the gender roles, okay, eliminating them, and we're going to have what we call, I stress this all the time, right? Okay, not husband and wife, but what?
Partners.
Okay. Partners are not roles. Okay. Partners are flexible. It has to be worked out. Okay. Husband and wife are roles. They're set roles that each a man and a woman have to play. Okay. They're set gender roles. That's what they wanted to eliminate. That's like me here, partners. Okay. I tell the guys, especially my professional guys. Okay. If you want a wife, if she says partner, you're gonna get a partner. Realize that. Okay. You're not getting a wife, you're getting a partner. And that's fundamentally different than husband and wife. I don't care what title they put on that paper. And if she says partner, you're gonna be getting a partner. You're not getting a wife. That's fundamentally different. If that's what you need, and if you can find a partner that fits your needs, and that's what you have to find because you have to work all that out, then that's fine. Okay, but you got to realize you're gonna, and the more upwardly mobile the woman is, the more likely she is to be a partner and not a wife. So
Netta,
you have to really pick that. Be careful when you pick that out.
Netta, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with him 100%.
Okay.
You see me over here like, I agree with him.
And like I said, it's not a good or a bad thing. Okay, it's and in the '90s, because I talked to psychiatrists and college psychologists, they were talking about eliminating gender roles. They said, you're gonna make things way more difficult than they were, and you guys got to really start teaching these people, as they come up, how to adjust to this new situation, because for 10,000 years you had gender roles, and now you're gonna eliminate them, right? So now you're gonna have a whole lot of people bumping into each other, trying to figure out how the pieces fix, how the pieces mesh. Okay, because I think I was listening to Donovan Sharp earlier today, right? Prior to 1970, okay, 9 out of 10 women are actually trained to be wives. Now, he said 9 out of 10 women are probably trained to be partners. And partners, a partnership, just like a business or just like a business partner. Okay, you got to look at check the boxes and do your due diligence and check all the details, right? Because it could be just that one little thing that doesn't fit, and it's gonna blow up. Whereas in a gender role, husband and wife, I've seen husband and wives that hated each other. I mean, absolutely hated each other. But guess what? That family ran like a well-oiled machine. Because he did his role and she did hers. You look at fences, right? Troy and Rose didn't love each other. They didn't love each other. The thing is, she was a wife, and she needed a husband for certain things, and he needed a wife for certain things. So they raised 3 children and never really loved each other.
But let me ask you this: when you think that the ultimate goal would be that you could be husband and wife, but still be partners and kind of have those intertwined to make it work and make it better?
You can okay. If to have that kind of relationship, right? One, it's going to take 3 parts. It's going to take luck. Okay. It's going to take a lot of due diligence to pick, knowing of you. Number one, you have to, each person has to know themselves, right? And that's another thing, right? Because most people really don't know themselves till they get in their mid-30s at the minimum, right? Minimum mid-30s before you really know yourself, right? So how can you have a 21, 22, 23-year-old kid pick a partner and know themselves? They don't know who they are yet. Okay, men do not know themselves until they're 30. I could tell every guy that. You don't know who you are till you're 30. You don't have a clue who you are till you're 30. So how are you going to pick a partner that fits you before the age of 30? You don't know who you are. You don't know what you need. You don't know what pisses you off. You don't know what makes you happy. You don't know the little bitty things, right? So picking a partner is hard, right? If the third thing is besides hard work and due diligence, knowing who you are, right, is hard work and due diligence. If you get the first 2, then it's just like a business, man. You got to work every day, because it's not gonna work automatically. Okay, you're gonna have to, all those little pieces that you put together according to them check boxes. You got to check those boxes, okay? Because it's not on automatic like it used to be. That's what I would say.
So realistically, should they probably wait till they around 35 or something to get married?
I would say at if you want to do it right, if you really want to do it right, and you want to struggle the less, right? I would say not 35. I would say 28 and above, right? I think by 28 you got a pretty good sense about who you are because you've gone past your childhood, had enough adulthood to kind of have some bumps and bruises. You have a sense of who you are. You don't know who you are, but you have a sense of it. So I'd say 28 and
I
up.
disagree. I
Go ahead.
disagree. I'm not
Go
an
ahead.
age. I'm not an age focused person.
Okay.
And then just because I'm divorced now, I don't think that my marriage was a complete failure. And I got married we was together at 16. I got married at 17 and a half. I was 18 in a few months.
Uh-huh.
But we stayed together almost 30 years.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I
oh,
don't.
old contract, huh? Husband and wife, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I came from Church of God in Christ,
Yeah.
PKK. So
See,
I was like,
see, that's a difference, right? That's a difference, right?
mhm,
You were a
yeah.
wife, right? You're trained to be a wife, right?
I literally, I'm not going. When you said that earlier, that's why I was not in agreement because the women in my family, we're trained to be a wife.
Right.
The majority of us know how to keep a clean house. We know how to cook well.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to, some things are default. We even know how to handle the fact that your husband might be a cheater.
Yes.
We train well. You got the ones that's my age that's like, yo, I ain't dealing with that. You cheat, deuces, pieces, deuces, divorce.
Yeah.
But we're trained to be like that. We're conditioned. That's our condition of us.
But your husband was not your partner. He was your husband.
No, my husband was my husband, and he was the head.
Yes.
He was the head.
Yes.
And that's why I had a difficult time dating because I'm a woman that I don't mind my man being the head. I don't mind him taking the lead.
Right.
And the men, unfortunately, that I meet
are partners.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Carolyn, in fact, I'll probably put this up because I've promised myself. So I actually put it on my Black Pill Gnostic page, right? Carolyn Mace actually talked about this, right? She said marriage is an archetype, and what we did in the '90s is actually blow up that archetype. Okay, so those gender roles that went along with that archetype are gone, right? That archetype was actually built for longevity. So in other words, no matter what, okay, I'm a husband, she's a wife. She's not leaving, I'm not leaving, no matter what goes on, right? Because it's built for longevity. Because those roles, you like back then, you're really married to the archetype. You're really married to the I call married to the game, right? Married to being a wife more than your husband, okay? Because I'm a wife, this is what I do. Yeah. And same thing with husbands. So like my before my father died, man, my mother and father were married for like 60 years, right? It wasn't always easy, but thing is, she's a wife and he was a husband, so it's built for longevity. Partners are temporary, okay? Can be temporary according to the contract.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And men, like, they gotta understand that because I do know personally for me, I'm used to strong men because my grandfather, my uncles, my stepdad, they were strong men. They worked in plants, they worked in law enforcement, I seen them blood, sweat, and tears, my grandpa, my uncle, and them had their own black pavement business. So I've seen hard work where we had to be around that, where I remember being a kid, my uncle and granddad would come in the house and we would clean their lunchbox out, like take whatever food they didn't eat, wash their lunchbox out and sit it on the counter for my grandma and my aunt so they could be able to pack it up for that night or the next day. That's the stuff I'm used to. So for some men, that's why I'm agreeing with a lot you say. For some men, like when I date or whatever, and they come over and they see that I don't cook the whole spread for them, they like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like you cook. I'm like,
yeah.
But they look at my job and my house and stuff that I do and think that I'm not that woman.
Right.
Until they get to know me and they like, yo, you like cook better. And then they want you to, you to be the one, but they don't fit the bill.
Yeah. They're not trained for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You see, you are what I was mentioning about Nicole Ali. You and her are like BGS. You're the same archetype. You're raised to be one way, but you have the ability to do the other things as well. And now that we've come to a confluence of a new way of teaching young men and not necessarily teaching the women, you have people that just aren't, they're incongruent when it comes to getting together. This is why you start to see the proliferation of single parent homes, divorces on the rise, everything that can go wrong with the society that used to be kind of just glossed over is
Right.
now just starting to morph up and is pushing through.
So who's going to be responsible for teaching these men and women this?
Well,
What
first
is
of
it?
all, let me say this. I never
Mm,
want to say that we're in a hopeless society. I will say this. My experience in the programs that I run here, these young girls, they got all the answers.
You said they got all the answers.
They got all the answers. Now the answers may
They
not be
think they
right.
have the answers.
Look,
yeah,
the answers may not be right,
yeah.
but they feel they have all the answers. When I was growing up, it was nothing for us to sit down and catch wisdom. Okay? It was nothing for an older woman to say, "Come here, baby. Nah, that's not how you. Let me teach you how to make this cornbread because you gonna mess this up. Come
Hmm.
here. Let me show you how to fry this chicken right." These young girls now like, I know how to fry chicken. I know how to. Girl, your chicken is still raw. You
Hmm.
don't know how to fry no chicken. You know what I'm saying?
So they
Hmm.
watching
But
videos, YouTube and stuff. They're not getting the hands on.
Yeah.
no, everything now is just like instant microwave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's the society that we're building with
right.
the automated.
But we messed
Yeah.
them up like that. Let's be honest. We messed them up. I'm grateful that my daughter is married and she know how to cook. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. But her dad was a good cook and I
Mm-hmm.
was a good cook. So she
Mm-hmm.
really ain't had no choice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we mess these kids up. And I say that even speaking for my children. My kids are spoiled. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One reason why is because we kept saying I don't want my kids to go through what I went through.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't want no I got hand-me-downs. They ain't gonna never had no hand-me-downs. They should have had hand-me-downs because then they would have respected and been able to understand going without and
Mm-hmm.
how to sacrifice.
Yeah.
They would have understood that. These kids now don't, the word no, they don't know. And because
Yeah.
I work in mental health and behavioral health, the word no has to be, it has to be said so the child will understand what rejection means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Doctors. Yeah. We got to kill Dr. Spock and Dr. Seuss.
Yeah,
Or at
yeah.
least modify them. Yeah. We tried it, but it, it doesn't work. It
They ain't work. They ain't work.
didn't work. Yeah.
Little stitching cords and switches ain't hurt nobody.
I don't know about the extension cord. I can't get with that now. I can't get with
I ain't
that
gonna
one.
lie, I got the stitching cord and it was right before a family reunion.
Woo!
Yeah.
And my mom tore my legs up. I had the big old like circular whip on my leg.
Mm-hmm.
That was abuse though.
Yeah, I think that there's other wild to you. That part I can leave out. I didn't left it out for my kids. Again, that wasn't necessary. But the thing is, what I learned from my one of my older uncles, right, is to start early. So as soon as they can reach that little switch on the hand, okay. So by the time they get 3, I don't have no more problems.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, I don't have any more problems. So by the time that switch on the hand, like my son, he's 36. Okay, um, he'll talk back to everybody but me, even though he's 36.
Wow.
I don't have any problems with him. I respect him as a man, but if I ask him to do something, he'll do it.
Wow.
That's the way it should
And that's
be.
funny because my sons are like that, but my daughter the opposite.
You
Like
know what?
my sons is super. My one son, he was the one on FaceTime helping me pick my car out today.
Hmm.
Totally respect. Never cursed at me. Never got smart.
Hmm.
If he feel like he don't like what I'm saying, he'd be like, "All right, mom, yeah, I'll talk to you later." I know
Hmm.
that when he be
Hmm.
like, when he don't agree with me, yeah,
Hmm.
mom, I talk to you. I hit you up later, okay? I talk to
Hmm.
you later. I know then he don't agree. He uncomfortable. He ain't gonna talk about it. And then my oldest, like he in his 30s, so he's a little more vocal. But he'd be like, Mom. When he starts saying that, I know he like, yo, I'm gonna end this conversation because I can't say what I want to say to you. So he'd just keep saying, Mom. And I'd be like, okay, Andrew, I'll talk to you later then. All right, bye. Now my daughter, you don't know what you're talking about. First of all, and I'd be like, oh, I'm about to snap your neck in half. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the baby will shut down. We really have to understand the magnitude of our children's personality. Because the fact of the matter is that each one of our kids have one of our personalities, if not combined.
A piece of it, yeah.
Right. And so what my kids is, my kids have their father's best quality. And
That's
I say
good.
it all the time, their work ethics. His best quality. Okay. And not to say that he got bad qualities. And then they have his work ethics, and they're very, very, very stubborn. And I like that about them because that makes them good leaders. Because they're not easily persuaded. And I like that about them. Now me, they got qualities of me with money. I'm very frivolous with money. Okay. I will save so I can have rainy day money. But I'll spend it. If I see a Louis I want, I'm going to get it. 2 of my kids are like that. But the older one and my daughter is not. They're very frugal like their father and very cautious about what they spend. So the household, they can be raised in the same household, but they're going to gravitate to different things that they're going to walk away with.
Yeah, they're born with their personalities when they first come out the womb. Yeah.
Right. And all we do is nurture them and mold them. You know what I'm saying?
They shape the person, shape it. What's there? Yeah. You can, with my kids, I saw them born, right, and their core personalities have never changed from the time they were born. Still have the same core personality, but you got to shape it for its best qualities.
Yeah, you definitely got to shape it. But back to far as the dating and the whole thing we were talking about women wanting their peace, not a peace. When I made that statement, David, I was talking about men who don't understand. They don't understand how to learn a woman because they think every woman is the woman they had before. Every woman is the same. So
That's all you got to go by.
Which is horrible because the approach is bad. Like, I don't like when men first conversation with me is sexual.
Okay.
I don't like that. Now, you want to turn me off and not get my phone number and no action? Do that. That's an immediate turn off.
So what about the women that come that say the exact opposite?
That's on them.
Be upfront. Be upfront.
You drink it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Basically, men are hunters, right? So if the majority of rabbits want carrots and one rabbit wants cabbage, you're gonna walk around with cabbage or carrots.
I get it, but my thing is, I don't like it. I don't like when men like, oh, I like your mouth. Like, I put that. I know what you're saying when you say you like my mouth. Like, don't say that to me.
Why does it have to be on that level? They might think you got some nice lips, but
no, she knows what he's saying. He's trying to say it in a suggestive way instead of a vulgar way. Yeah, but
I know what you're saying when I like your mouth. I was like, I look
like your mouth, or should he say, I like your lips, or?
Well, he don't want to be. No, what he wants to say. I'm not going to say it here. That's what he really wants to say. Exactly. But there's a less vulgar way to say it.
It's funny. That reminds me of the part, and I think the movie was a class act when they were talking about Tolstoy, and he referenced a passage that Tolstoy wrote, and the character played by Play was saying, I didn't know he was talking about popping up, and then he corrected himself.
Yeah.
The art of learning how to talk dirty to a woman who's classy is lost on a lot of men.
What
Yes,
is,
and that's the thing right there. I
uh,
said the other day, I said to my girlfriend, because we was at the cigar spot, and when the guy said it to me, I said, we in a cigar spot, I'm smoking a cigar. He don't think I know what he's saying. So then I just looked at him and smiled. But then I realized when I looked at him and smiled, I welcome another comment instead of addressing it then.
mm,
So then I was sitting there and he walked past. He said, so I guess you gonna give me your phone number so I can see
mm,
that mouth every day? I said,
mm-hmm.
See, he said the wrong thing.
what we
He
gonna do?
said the wrong. He said the
No, no,
wrong thing.
he didn't. He didn't. The thing
He
is,
said what
He
he
said it the wrong
knows.
way.
That's what
no,
he
no,
knows.
he didn't. In other words, the bait he was putting out was for the wrong rabbit. Okay.
Well, yes, that's what I was gonna say. See, me, I'm not a cigar smoker.
He
I'd have took
put
a
it
different
on,
approach.
and I had to show him and tell him because you got to show people and tell people how to treat you.
Yeah.
So I
Well, yeah.
said to him, I said, you are a very nice man, and I said, I see you a Catholic, so which means you educated. I said, so I don't want to say that your statement you made to me is uneducated. It's just not an attractive statement for a woman like me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I said, so I'm going to help you out. Hi, Annetta. How are you? You have a very nice smile. Oh, thank you very much. What's your name? He was like, oh,
You one of them, huh? Yeah. That's what
he
he
was
said.
And
like,
see, this is why I was talking about the 100 questions,
Hmm.
and
and
everybody laughs every time I bring it
I
up.
don't have no problem correcting anyone because
No.
I didn't automatically like, oh, you wrong, because I'm not that woman. I'm not about
Mm,
to sit here. One thing my grandfather and uncle taught me, you ain't don't and my ex-husband, don't be sitting there debating, arguing back and forth with no man. You ain't gonna win that. Don't argue
Yeah,
back and forth and don't be confronting no man in no man face. So I'm not that girl. So I said that woman. I said that to him. And then the rest of the night, we was cool.
yeah.
Matter of fact, we went to the counter to get a cigar, and I looked at him and I said to the girl, I said, I'm gonna pay for his cigar. And he was like, for real?
Hmm.
I insulted you, you gonna pay? I said, you didn't insult me, you just didn't know how to come at me.
Yeah.
I said, and it's okay. And I paid for his cigar. He literally that night came to me and was like, yo, I don't know where you come from, but I know you're not from Texas. I was like, I'm not. I said, but don't dismiss all the ladies from Texas. You got some here like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
and the thing with that is, and this is the beauty of growing up where I did, because I always had Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, as
Hmm.
a proving ground.
Hmm.
And while a lot of things between the U.S. and Canada are very similar, it's those differences that allowed me to actually grow and learn some of these lessons that I talk about. So when I talk about the 100 questions, when I talk about going different places and doing different things, although for me it's only a 15-minute walk, it's the equivalent for somebody living in San Diego going to Tijuana.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I always make these statements and these comparisons about going places, meeting people, doing different things, because you learn how to speak to people differently. You learn to read people. I've been in customer service so long that I can look at somebody and tell either they're
Yeah.
lost, they want something, but they're afraid to ask because they don't want to look stupid.
Hmm.
And a lot of what we do as humans, we don't ever want to appear stupid. We don't ever want to appear as if we don't know. And for men, it's even worse because we're tasked with knowing. This is
Mm.
why a lot of people will come to men. Well, ask him. This is why that old ad is that men are too stubborn to ask for directions. Me, I ask for directions in a heartbeat because I'd rather look lost than actually be lost. I'm not here to impress anybody. Anybody that I need to impress, they're already sitting in the passenger seat of my car because they know by the little things that I've shown them that I'm going somewhere. This is why. Remember when we went to the spot in Buffalo, David, and we did the interview,
Yeah.
and they asked about why should a women submit to a man? I said you should never submit to a man. You should submit to that man's plan. You have a lot of men that don't have plans but they still want submission. Why am I going to submit to somebody that doesn't know where they're going, doesn't know how they're going to get there? They just think it's just going to happen. And this is what Kevin used to talk about all the time. This is why a lot of brothers like myself were drawn to him, even though we may not have walked lockstep with what he was talking about. We understood the foundation that he was trying to set. he was saying men, and this is what BGS was alluding to earlier, men work in your 20s to get to your 30s. So when a woman comes up to you, you're there.
Yeah.
You're almost that finished, varnished project of a man that you can set up shop and you can go back and pick what it is that you want in a woman. You could bring her in here, you could place her where she has no choice but to follow what it is that you're laying down. Because if not, you can always jettison her and go get somebody else. That's what having options do. No, I'm telling you what I do.
You said jettison. Yeah, that's harsh.
Buy, get out, get the stepping.
Star Wars shit, man.
I don't waste time telling a woman, look, you're not wanted around these parts.
She's space junk. Jettison.
Yeah. I do not waste time. Like I tell people, my scalpel game is strong. I cut females off in a synapse. You what? Okay, go. I remember this is probably about 5-6 years ago. I had a female take a taxi over. I was planning to get down. She got in, sat down, and she said some wild off the wall. So wild I can't even remember. And I looked at her and I was like, my mother wouldn't even say anything like that to me. I was like, you gotta go. She's like, I just got here. And I said, you're just leaving. Packed her ass in the cab and sent her back home and didn't speak to her again.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
And a lot of men, they get tenderfoot when they see the opportunity to get some.
It depends on her age.
Talking to her anyway for the mere fact that she was in the cab. I keep trying to tell men if you got a car and she don't got no car, you don't need to be talking to her because. But see,
I operate with a different folk though.
Handicapped. She's already going to be a dependent.
Yeah?
No, not at all.
Can you drop me off at my friend's? No. And I tell
no, I know how to. You have to remember. I like the word no too damn much.
I get it, but I like to tell my brothers and my male friends, listen, if she don't have her own house and she worried about you having your own house, you need to run. She is not.
No, this wasn't about that though. She just said some off the wall shit.
It depends.
Somebody to say, oh, I like to go traveling, but I don't have the money to travel. What?
It depends on what kind of guy. It depends on what kind of guy you are. Some guys like a dependent woman, and he wants control.
Don't get me wrong. Some men do like to be Captain Save a Hoe.
Yeah, that's harsh. That's harsh.
I'm not one. I don't. First of all, I don't deal with a female who doesn't have at least what I have. So if I don't have a car, I'm not going to expect a woman to have one. But I do expect her to be gainfully employed or however she is sustaining herself. I expect her to be something that's consistent. I expect her to have a place of her own. Those are the things that I have. No vehicle, that's not a problem. We can work that out. Because I'm going to get to where I need to get to, whether it's by bike, walking, rent a car, or bus. I have the means, so for me getting to somewhere is not an issue. I've been without a car for the last 20 years, so for me, it doesn't even make sense to own one, especially now.
You know what, because I'm not a dating coach, right? I really don't do that kind of stuff. But the guys that counsel as far as picking women that they want, right? The first thing I have to walk them through is their own checkbox, the checklist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how hard it is, right? I said, what are the top things that you really want and need from a woman, right? I can't tell you how hard it is. It takes an hour to walk through 10 things, right? But a woman, I have to cut her off like about 50, right? I got to cut her off. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Got to cut this down a little bit, right? Because you got too much. Okay. But a man, most men have never really thought about their needs and their wants out of a woman, right? They see a woman, they feel her, they get her the feel of her vibe, and that's how they pick her, right? They never sit down and logically, we would think men would be logical about this, right? They never sit down and logically run through a checklist of what she needs to have, what her qualifications need to be for you to actually accept her. And then I have to go over, okay, what are you willing to compromise for what you want?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how long it takes to actually walk through a 10 item checklist about what they want. Okay. Women, one thing I can say about women are pretty clear for the most part about their checklist. Okay. They may be.
I'm not.
You're not?
Yes, she is. Don't let her fool you.
Okay.
Do not let her fool you.
No, I don't believe it in a heartbeat. Okay. Netta, we'll play that again.
No. Understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
I around me
Uh-huh.
that I really have not geared and honed into what my checklist is. I know what I don't want to deal with, but I don't know what my checklist is.
You don't have a checklist. I find that difficult to believe.
You
I
already know I'm
I
ready to play whipcord.
I know. Okay, I mean, you don't have to. If you don't want to say it, don't say it. But the thing is, what are your top 10 as far as your what do they call it? Not deal breakers. You absolutely have to have for a man. Okay, what are your
What
top
I
10
absolutely have to have for a man.
for to be your I hate to use a partner. Let's put it that way. Say for a boyfriend, right? Not a jump off or a guy you have flings with, but a
Not saying, but okay. Go
yeah.
ahead.
What I'm saying, yeah, jump offs don't matter because when you go to that bottom level, they're basically sexual
Yeah, it
partners for the
ain't,
most part. Yeah,
that's no emotions, no what.
yeah. Well,
What's my
okay,
top 10? My
top
top
10.
10 is he has to be gainfully employed.
One.
I'm not caught up in salary. As long
Okay,
as he maintains himself and takes care of himself.
okay.
My biggest thing is, it might be odd and weird to y'all,
It doesn't matter.
but I'm a teeth fanatic. You have
Okay,
to have your own teeth.
okay.
I am really, like, I can't even hold it. I would think you a big joke if I'm talking to you and your teeth is not maintained.
Okay.
That's another thing. And then I don't like silly men. I don't like men that play too much.
No, we like serious men more.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
more serious, more stern.
Grounded. Yeah,
Hey, baby.
yeah,
Hey.
yeah. Okay,
So my
okay.
other
That's good.
ones is, I like men that read.
Okay, that's four.
I like
Okay,
readers.
okay,
I don't like gamers, and I don't like men that watch a lot of television.
okay. So men that in the entertainment, uh, like that. Electronic entertainment, like games and TV and stuff like that. You don't like that? Okay. Okay. That's six.
What other? I don't like talking to men who do not take care of their children.
Okay.
Okay. I don't like talking to men who talk bad about their exes. I will not
Okay.
talk to a man
Okay.
that talk bad about his ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, baby mama. I just won't.
Okay. Okay.
Because I know I would be the next on the list.
Okay. That's eight. Okay.
What else? I don't like men that wear fitted hats and dress
That's weird.
b-boy
That's
over
weird.
45.
That was our next talking point.
That's weird. That's weird. That's nine. That's nine, but it's weird. That's a strange one, but okay. Yeah.
Okay, bro, why you gonna say I'm strange?
I know. I said that is a strange one to be in the top 10. That'd be more like
I don't like that.
Okay.
I'm not really difficult. I don't like men that wear fitted hats and dress like a b-boy. I don't like it. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's nine.
I don't like men that cuss a lot. I don't like men that cuss a lot.
Okay. You don't like men that swear. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it.
In other words, men that have manners
Yes.
for the most part. Okay. So that's 10. Okay. That's not it, but the thing is, that's the top 10. Okay. All right. That didn't take that long, did it? What, about 5 minutes?
It didn't take that long. I never thought about all of this like that.
But see, Anetta, that's the funny thing. You don't verbalize it,
Yeah.
but it's there.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the reasons why you do the background checks. So you can see what the moral fiber of is the guy that you're talking to, whether it's going somewhere or it isn't.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. There's probably at least 10 more. That doesn't mean she's no. No, that doesn't mean she's controlling. Okay, fitted hats and a certain b-boy means it comes with a certain kind of lifestyle and personality. That's what she's
right.
trying to say. And I don't think it's the hats itself or the b-boy clothes themselves. I think it's the personality that comes along with it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like that game it fast talk. Street.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know what's real funny about that, Anetta, is upstairs in my attic as we speak, I have between 200 and 250 baseball caps that I have not worn in about 13, 14 years. They're just sitting up, literally. They're sitting up in my attic collecting dust. I can't compete with David. David got me beat. David made me put the hat game to rest. He's
Yeah,
there.
but
I
he
can.
don't have all those fit. Like I like men that wear nice hats, but I just it's like BGS said, it's that whole
Yeah.
fitted hat, that
Yeah.
whole
No,
that
Be-
stuff
be-
don't
So,
do nothing
be-
for
so,
me.
to what you're
be-
saying, and this is why I like along with those hats, I have a closet full of jerseys. I rarely wear them unless I'm going to a sporting event or I'm out somewhere where I just want to be relaxed and chill. I don't wear them. They don't see the light of day.
so,
It's because
so
what you
can we?
wear what you wear can be it can be a uniform, and just like we recognize cops and
Yes.
firemen and postmen, stuff like that by the uniform. It's an archetype, so people actually who you are is who you present. Kevin
Hmm.
Samuels try to
Exactly.
say it a lot
Mhm.
to a lot, right? It's a uniform.
So let's go to the second talking point we had. What
Okay, go
age?
ahead. I'm here
What
for
age?
another 20 minutes.
What age should a man start dressing like a mature man?
Depends on how you define a mature man. Okay. How you
Well,
define what's the definition of it? Okay.
Yeah, what's the definition? Because that's kind of hard, correct?
well,
I'll
Because
put it like, go ahead,
because what
BJ.
a
Herb,
mature because
Herb,
what a
because you came
mature
up with this talking point.
because what a mature man would wear 30 years ago is different than what he would wear now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Times are changing. Well, yeah, the environment changes, the styles change. So you're talking about a mature man is what? 30, 40, 50? Where we
I
going with
hope
this?
it's not them leisure suits, because those United Men leisure suits need to go
I
to the
don't. I
What's
never
a
liked
leisure
those.
suit?
That's
What's a
that, that's
leisure
that,
suit?
that's and you know what that's too country for me. Leisure suits.
What's a
Yeah,
leisure
you wear
suit?
that BGS. I'm gonna be like, do you live in Alabama?
Yeah, I could never take it. I could
What's a
never.
leisure
I
suit?
see it.
You don't know what a leisure
Ah,
suit is?
What is it?
That's
it's.
that them pants that be having the cuffs
Mhm.
and the matching shirt, the little
Okay,
button
well,
down shirt.
I kind of figured that's what it was. I was gonna say the United Men outfits.
When I tell you I cannot, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all,
You in Texas?
everybody wear them up here. I went to a live band thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they was like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" I was cracking up
So a
laughing.
whole outfit, just
Mm-hmm.
It was
that's
like a
like a
circus,
legitimate outfit.
but it was worse. They had the leisure suits and the gold teeth. I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, you in a foreign country, babe.
I was like, what is going on here? My girlfriend was like, oh, you gonna catch somebody tonight. I said, I bet you I'm not. What I'm gonna catch halitosis. I was like, these gold teeth and these leisure suits will wipe me out.
Yeah. I was born in Texas, but yeah, I can't deal with the leisure suits. Yeah.
So some of the things that I was, what's his name? This guy, OG Styles, is that his name, Herb? Who critiques and talks about certain points, and he's on YouTube, and he was saying,
Jeff the Style OG.
yeah, he was
Oh
saying
yeah.
certain things that men shouldn't wear when they get in a certain age, like
Okay.
the stretch jeans, the ripped jeans. I still got a couple pair of those. He was talking about jerseys. He was like certain older guys, you shouldn't be wearing like the the retro, the Jordans and stuff like that. He was putting out there in the
Yeah.
baggy
It
suits.
should it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be your daily uniform. If you like, say, if you're going to the park or you're going to a sporting event or something like that, then it's appropriate to the event. But as a daily uniform, yeah, I agree
Right.
with him.
So what's your take on now that you see a lot of guys wearing suits with sneakers, and I think some of the older guys wear it 'cause their feet are bad and they don't
That's
want to wear them shoes.
that's part of the fashion style that changes with suits with sneakers. That started with it started with the NBA and the
Because
NBA.
their feet are bad.
Well, some people,
It started with the NBA where
yeah,
you have athletes they had to start wearing suits, right? So they
Right.
wear suits with their sneakers, so it became like a fashion trend.
Yeah, David Stern implemented that because the first
Yeah,
person I recall ever wearing suits and sneakers was Phil Collins back
yeah,
when he started his solo career just
Yeah.
after leaving Genesis. And
yeah.
I was just like, I wasn't raised that way. And this is why Kevin Samuels always spoke about going out and spending $300 or $400 on a good pair of shoes. Because if you get a good pair of shoes, you won't have to worry about your feet not fitting or being sore. A lot of men are taught to buy shoes by women, and women don't buy shoes that are built for comfort.
Yeah, but you had a okay. What happened? It was one was the NBA. Two, it was actually the tech field, right? Because an office environment was button up, suit and tie,
Yeah.
white shirts, whatever, right? And then maybe casual on a Friday, right? But the tech industry kind of changed. It was much more loose, much more casual. Uh, uh, Suits, maybe. Well, no suits really, button up and tennis shoes with a pair of slacks. So it kind of changed the what we call uh business attire. So that kind of went along with everything else. So it kind of changed the way fashion was actually seen. So yeah, it's still kind of strange to see tennis shoes depending on what kind of suit it is. But the thing is, it's not that unusual anymore because we kind of changed the way we look at fashion.
And I know for me at when I worked at the high school level, I would wear shirts and ties and blazers and all that. But now I work at a middle school, I'm
Yeah,
wearing khakis, sneakers, and all that because I'm constantly moving.
yeah,
You never know when something's gonna jump off
yeah.
in the middle school. Not that it jumps off in high school too, but most of the time, after a while, some of the high school kids start getting it, and
Mm,
the behaviors change. But in middle school, you just never know. So I said, I'm not going to be out here with slippery earls on,
okay.
trying to break up a fight and busting my tail. I learned that from my days at the high school with those type of shoes on, and then you're in the cafeteria on duty. And they fight, and then you
Mm.
trying to break it up. Your ass is on the ground while they
Yeah.
fight.
See,
It's funny you say that.
David Mouth, I couldn't talk to David because he cussed too much.
Stop.
Because he cusses.
But Dave cussed too much.
And I don't
It's
even
funny.
cuss that much.
His favorite word is the ASS and the SHIT.
You know, it's funny you say that, David. I remember when I was doing mentoring here, and I would go to the school, and I was just wearing a pair of slacks, button-up shirt, and a tie. The response from the kids was markedly different
Yeah.
than what I would have got if I'd have came in and wearing something like this. When I would peek in some of the classrooms, people
Right.
thought I was a literally a plant from the school board, and it took a year for them to get accustomed to the fact that there was a black man
Mhm.
walking around there dressed appropriately, pants not sagging,
Mhm.
him not speaking slang, no caps, clean cut, spoke well.
Mhm.
And it was off-putting to a lot of them. And I think we get caught up in that stereotype. In order to be accepted, we need to dress like that. And that was the one thing that Kevin Samuels was trying to break, was we can be accepted in any way we present ourselves. Because he did the comparison with the one brother who dressed well one day,
Mhm.
and then he dressed down the other day.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate that the young man was so comfortable being dressed down that he didn't realize all the benefits he got
Yeah.
with dressing up.
Yeah. Think about how you react to an off-duty cop versus one in uniform.
It's a world of difference.
What a difference, right? Same. I learned this from Joe Dominguez, right? When he said that your costume or your uniform for work, you have to spend a certain amount of money on, right? I didn't get it, but after thinking about it, right, everything that you wear tells people who you want to be, how to react to you, right? You come in with sagging pants and tattoos and a jersey and a fitted, they're gonna react to you a certain way, rather than a white shirt button up with $1,000 suits and $500 shoes. They're gonna react to you a different kind of way. They'll treat you differently. They tell the salesmen that all the time, right? How you dress is how people respond to you, and who
Yeah.
your market is how you dress.
And
Yep.
I could even say that on the elementary level when I would dress up too. Like a lot of the kids, they used to be, the little kindergartens, first grade, they'd be like, "Are you the principal? Are you the
Yeah.
principal?"
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, no,
yeah.
I'm not the principal. But
Yeah.
when they see you with a shirt and tie on, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's somebody important."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. We saw that in the movie Titanic when Jack went to dinner.
Yeah.
We see, and this is the thing about how we watch movies, or how I watch movies. I watch movies for the little idiosyncrasies and to see how things transition from one scene to the other. Like I said, we saw that in the movie Titanic when Jack walked in
Yeah.
dressed as a gentleman, And then the next day he walked in dressed as a commoner. And at the door, they stopped him. He said,
Right.
"Don't you remember me from yesterday?" They said, "No."
No.
It's like BGS said, that suit, and it tells
Yeah.
people
Yeah. Denotes class.
about you.
Yeah. Denotes class. Yeah. It does. It really does. And
Well,
it's
the thing
it's
is,
subconscious.
I'm sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The thing is, and
Say it.
your dress attire it does put your first representation out.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Dress. Like I started this job and it's a new job. You know, I'm executive director and I was director in Buffalo. I dressed up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so here, I couldn't understand why the women was looking at me like when I came into the new job, and I was like, oh, maybe they look because I'm new.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm still dressing the same, but they got comfortable enough to tell me last week, yo, you overdressed and come in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how? I was like, but this, and to me, I come from New York. This is how we dress.
Right.
I'm like, no, but this is how I dress. And they like, yeah, we get it, but you overdress. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
In other words, you have to blend into the environment where you're at.
Right.
And I understood what they were saying, and I didn't get offended or took it as an offense. I took it as, because first I was like, why do they keep scroll facing me, looking me up and down? And I said to them the other day, I said, I was wondering, like, why y'all looking me up and down like that? Why y'all looking like y'all was sizing me up every day? They said, well, first of all, we were impressed that you was wearing heels every day. Then we was like, oh.
Who she thinks she is?
Right. She, not we understand she our boss, but she ain't got to come in here looking like a boss every day. So then when they told me that, I took heed to that. Mm-hmm. So I waited a couple of days, and when that Friday came, I said, oh, ladies, I got some good news. They said, what? Because it's business casual. I said, all next week, we're going to wear jeans, denim, just not shorts, skirts, whatever. We're just going to dress down. We're short, just dress down. They all looked at me and was like, and what you gonna wear? And I was like, I'ma dress down. Don't be saying that.
Yeah.
So when I came in there, I had on my little orange Steve Madden sneakers, my little orange shirt, my jeans. They was like, well, come on, Miss Vanetta.
Mm-hmm. You're one of us, yeah.
Right. So I had sometimes you have to blend in so people can see that you're relatable. Mm-hmm. And that you're connected to them. And I had to do that. I had to come out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Now, I was uncomfortable the whole day because when I got on sneakers, I don't walk like a lady. So I be like, oh, Lord, they about to see the tomboy come out of me.
And you know what the funny thing about that is, I'll do certain things and I wear certain things so it keeps me in a frame of mind on how to behave. That's why a lot of the stuff, like, a lot of stuff that happens to me at work, I don't respond to. It just goes by. I'm just like, okay. Catch me on the street, got a problem. So for me, that clothing, it's a physical reminder of I don't have to respond to a lot of nonsense that I encounter because I don't have to worry about having to defend myself. And I think that's what you're getting at with the fitted hats and things of that nature. It conveys a certain behavior or an expectation of a certain behavior, and more importantly, a response.
You know what? This since me being a Gnostic for the last 30 years, right? We learn archetypes, right? Archetypes are in the subconscious, and how you dress, your colors, the way you smell, that kind of stuff. And sometimes even the way you speak, it goes directly to the subconscious. It forms an image of who you are in people's minds. And you can control it or use it or whatever it is. Some people actually use it, like politicians use it all the time, right? So see a politician wearing a power suit versus a unbuttoned shirt in a bar, right? They know what kind of colors to wear, what kind of clothes to wear, actually be relatable, right? It's an archetype. You want to get to people's subconscious. 90% of people, what people think or feel is subconscious. If you can get to that, you can actually control people, right? They do it in advertising all the time, right? Colors, smells, images, clothes. Those are archetypes. Those are embedded embedded subconscious images in people's minds. So like Anetta said, right, the fitted hat and the jersey, that's an archetype embedded in her mind. It relates to a certain kind of a behavior or a certain kind of guy, no matter what you are, right? Automatically it's going to be okay. He's this kind of guy. He's gonna speak this way. You can come up and talk Cockney English, right? Doesn't matter. She's already formed an image of who you are
Right.
in her mind, in her subconscious. So these are archetypes. You don't really realize that. That's what Kevin was trying to tell you. How you dress, how you smell, those are all hit the subconscious, right? You can actually mold people, mold your image towards people just by doing that. Even before you open your mouth, you
Yeah.
can get people
Yeah.
on your side or against you just by what you wear, how you smell, or how you even stand sometimes, right? And that's what he's trying to get people to understand. Okay, these are archetypes. These are subconscious images that people are embedded in people's minds. Just like when she came in her heels and stuff, like with her employees, right? Who she thinks she is? She miss it. Okay, she come in all over dressed in her heels, it's like she owned the world.
Image is everything, man. Image is everything.
Well, yeah, you're a police officer. You know there's a difference between your
Woo!
uniform and your plain clothes.
There's a difference between uniform officers, period, because it was a study done by a guy who killed a cop. The first cop, he went trying to get hitchhike and get a ride. The guy was in shape. The uniform fits classic. You know, the guy said he looked like if I tried something, he would hurt me.
Hmm.
So the next guy he ran into who was a cop, he was sloppy, didn't care what he looked like, and he
Yeah.
attacked him and the guy because he killed him.
Hmm.
People don't try you because of the image. There's a reason why the lion has not tried too much on that savannah, isn't he?
Hmm. That big man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That big man and the fearsome look.
Hmm.
And this is the reason why even my female friends be like, "You all about them gender roles." I said, "Look, if we laying in the bed or sitting somewhere, who's gonna answer that call if somebody breaks into the house? You or
Yeah.
me?"
Yeah.
I said, "Gender roles don't count till you need them."
Right.
Yeah. And
That is
this.
so very true. That's facts. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I am
tell them,
not even gonna sit here and lie to you. I will sleep on the phone with my friend, and this house is so big you can hear everything. And I was like, "Yo, you hear that?" He like, "Yeah, but ain't nothing I could do. I'm 100 miles away." I'm like, "Oh shoot." He like,
Better get you one of them gold tooth cowboys though.
yeah,
Nah,
I'm gonna tell you,
And
I'm gonna
had
tell
that
you
pew pew at the side.
I'm gonna tell you
like,
what. If we were in
pull
medieval
your gun out.
times,
I was like, my gun is out. He was like, didn't you prepare yourself? He was
I
like,
tell it.
but I don't know if it's in your house. It sounds more outside. So I was like, let me go downstairs. But in my head, I'm not gonna lie because I'm truly a female. I was like, man, I don't want to go through this. Oh my god! And the first thing that came in my head was, I can't wait till one of my sons move down here. Like, I don't want to be in a house by myself. I feel like a male's presence needs to be in the house. That's just, y'all all got so quiet.
no,
We're
it's
just
true. It's
listening.
true.
No, because we know. We know. This is why we started the top of the broadcast with that nonsense about men not
Hey,
being needed.
hey, Annette, how do you think homosexuals get their jobs? Right? They need a man. They need a man in the house.
You know I'm not about to engage with you. You a
Huh?
man.
But hey, because you know I'm telling you the truth, though, right?
I'm not gonna agree.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to.
You
You
have
already
to.
did. You already did.
Yeah.
Because you're laughing. You already did because you're laughing.
Ooh, y'all funny. But yeah, you definitely need a male presence. But I'm telling you, it's hard. The dating thing is hard right now. Like,
Because
I finally put myself on a dating app.
mm-hmm.
Oh. Whew.
I was on the app last night for like 20 minutes and I got tired and deactivated.
So are you gonna be a wife or a partner? Which one are you going for?
I'm a wife.
But then dating apps are not for you, then, baby.
Absolutely not. Stay the hell away from them.
I deleted it because when I tell you, I put up 2 pictures, and within 20 minutes, I got all these inboxes. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shoot.
They
Oh,
just
I
sitting
called my
behind the
girlfriend
computer
like,
waiting
what
to
do I
respond.
do? How do you
It-
stop
it-
these
it's- it-
messages? She was like,
it's-
deactivated.
I
Oh yeah,
will
by the
never use a dating app. I'm sorry. No,
way, I told women
absolutely not.
what they. Just to answer that comment, I've told women which they should wear, and you know what they did? They wore it.
Okay.
Oh, there's no problem with that. They wore it. Hey, I like that pink little dress you wore. It looks good on you. Guess what she's gonna wear? Especially if she wants my attention.
If she wants your attention, yeah. They know.
Especially if
Women
she
know.
wants my attention.
And you know what's funny about that, Officer Faulkner, is I'm a different type of guy. If I'm into that female,
That's funny. I'm a
I'll
laid back
go.
type of guy.
Yeah, I'll go. No, I'll go buy her something that I want to see her in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. I don't expect a woman to tune her dress to my taste, because for a lot of women, they don't understand what that individual man's taste is, so they wear something that's generic because they think, like BGS said, is going to garner more attention. I don't
You know,
want you to garner more attention. I want you to garner my attention.
Well, they're playing the odds. With the odds
yeah,
are
Yes.
that,
what's up,
that
sir?
9 out of 10
Oh yeah,
guys like this dress. Yeah. So they're going to wear
by
those.
the way, what's up, Herb? Long time no see.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's been a while. I'm gonna tell you one thing about it. You know, when you're a laid back type of guy in a laid back type of world, you know, you'll get the lyrics. But I'm a guy who's a master of suggestion. You just implant the call in their head, and it's gonna make them. I won't even say make them. It makes them. You always can make a woman think it's her thought.
Yeah.
You can always convince them that hey, it looks good.
hmm So they call that suggestive selling, and absolutely agree. I mean, I agree, and it works. You know, I I like dresses on women. A lot of women nowadays they like to wear yoga pants, flat sneakers, and that's okay in certain situations. But if you're coming over to my house, I want you in a dress.
Damn, Herb.
I want you in a dress. And if I have to go buy it, I'm not above that. That way she can't say I don't own one, because a lot of women will say, well, I don't have one, or what should I wear? I'm overweight right now. I need to drop about 40, 50 pounds. The only thing I can tell women that I don't own and I don't have in my closet at the ready is a tuxedo. So an all black affair,
See,
an all
there
white
lies
affair.
the problem for me. That would be an issue for me because I do a lot of formal stuff. And for a man not to have a tuxedo for me, I'd be like, okay, so what is your inner circle? What do you do?
Well, keep in mind, I don't own one. It's not that I can't wear one. I don't know where to go get one. I just don't own one because my weight is always fluctuating. I have to do a better job of maintaining that weight. So it's not as if I don't understand the need to own one. I just don't. And I always will tell people, don't conflate with someone not having something with someone not understanding the importance of needing to have access to it. Like I said, I don't have a car, but I understand the importance of needing to, or understand the importance of having access to one. Because people will always ask me that. They say, well, what do you do if you want to go somewhere? I say, I plan. I don't, if I want to go see a couple Yankee games over the weekend, that's already planned. I've already bought the tickets. I already got hotel rooms. The last thing I need to do is make car rental reservations. That's not a difficult thing for me.
Should love you because if you do all that, see, I date men that I got to plan us going to the winery. I got to set up how we gonna go. I have to do this. The only thing I won't do is I won't pay for the whole thing. I'll be like, oh, we going Dutch or how we doing this?
I never. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Netta.
I don't like that I have to plan. I want to date a man that he knock on my door and be like, hey babe, what you doing? Oh hey, what's up?
Don't operate like that. Stop, Anetta. Stop. Because you know it take out time. He just can't knock on your door and tell you he made these plans and you're gonna roll with it.
I disagree, Dave. Hold on, Anetta.
I am, believe it or not. Dave,
Hold on, another. I disagree, Dave. And it's just like you say, KYP. If that man knows that woman, he can drop something and he could drop something within 36 hours and she'll be amenable to it.
I would definitely be open to it. What I think, like the person just called me, he's so full of crap that I just be like, okay, all right, because I don't play those games. Like, if you say you're interested, then you will make time for something that you're interested in.
Correct.
If you are not interested in it and you just want to see where it goes, far as I think for me, this is me, and now I'm not saying I do believe I'm a beautiful woman. But I think most men, it's a conquering quest for me because they know it's not easy to get me in the bed. So I think a lot of times they think they could do all these little games and all this little talking and all of that it's going to break me. And then I don't do nothing. I don't move. I don't really give them like an opener. I don't give like, oh yeah, that really got me. Oh yeah, that's there. I kind of like, don't give no response. So they don't really know where they stand. That's why I think my issue is, and I feel like sometimes I should just cut people off at the gate and be like, you know what? You didn't make the cut. I need you to leave immediately. I let them have too much time in the game.
Sometimes go ahead, Dave.
Because I think at some point when you said you leave them and they don't have no understanding, I think most people want some type of assessment of where they are, some type of communication to move forward. And if you're not giving them that, I don't, a lot of people may be driven based on your feedback. Like, damn, should I even pursue her? She's not giving me anything to, raise the stakes or whatever the case is. Not saying you have to change up what you're doing. Hey, if that works for you, but I'm just thinking like in the mind of some guys, they may need that, those results or where they stand. It would be equivalent to an education when when somebody take a test and you're a teacher and you never give them anything back, and the kid's like, damn, did we get a grade? That was like a week ago. Can we find out what we got? Like, why are we doing this if we don't get any feedback? So I would think like in dating, some people look for feedback. Like, I'm really enjoying you. I like when you did this or like when you did that. I don't know.
But then I think that would take me out my comfort zone because I'm not that sensitive or that emotionally inclined like that.
But see, this is the thing that a lot of men don't quite grasp. Is in that phase of where you're asking questions to suss out what an individual likes, are you being genuine or are you just, like Annetta said, trying to get her in the bed? Because what I was going to say earlier, I like to stargaze. The thing I want to be able to do down here at this latitude is to the Aurora Borealis. Now, I live about a 45-minute drive, give or take, from Lake Ontario. There's a beach out there, Alcott Beach. I grew up there. There's a individual I used to know, moved away, has since moved away over the last year and a half, I think. Hey, look, I'll shoot a text. Look, there's an odd chance that we might get to see the Northern Lights tonight. What are you doing, such and such? I'm not doing anything. You want to go? Yes. We're there. Now, whether we got to see them or not is immaterial. Also, same individual. The Yankees were playing postseason game in Cleveland. Cleveland's a 2.5-hour drive for me. I just happened to be off, so I shot that person a text. I said, what are you doing? I'm going down here to catch a postseason playoff game. Can you make it? No. I went down there by myself. But see, a lot of guys, as opposed to trying to make perfect with one or two individuals, they're trying to make perfect with 8 or 9 individuals, and then they wonder why they can't keep one on their squad. Condense, refine, experiment, rinse, wash, and repeat. That way, when you get to be about 35, 40, you already know what you got. Like I used to say, what's in your toolbox? Do you know how to plan dates? Do you know how to figure out what a female likes and what she doesn't like? Because if you're a man and you're capable of changing, which most men are, and adapting, then it should be no problem for you to say, okay, you know what? She likes Broadway musicals. I'm not necessarily into Broadway musicals. So if I want to branch out into something new, how can I do it? This is the opportune time. I can say, hey, look, I understand you like Broadway musicals. Phantom of the Opera is playing at Pantages downtown Toronto. You want to go? You don't think she's going to take the opportunity to jump at that?
So again, like if we talk about guys, if the father's not in their lives and stuff like that, where do they get this knowledge from? How are they taught this? I know, like like people like in the Nation of Islam, they have their trainings, whatever. When you're younger, they you have the older guys, the fruit, teach the guys how to court a woman, how to do this, how to do that. Like, where's these teachings coming from for regular children? Where most of the stuff they get from is from in the school.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
To put it simply, this is
yeah,
why
they
a
don't
lot of
get.
women
Yeah,
they
they don't.
complain about men not being able to make dates. They complain about men not being in tune with what a woman wants. They complain about all these things that men are short on. And Jordan Peterson talks about this failure to launch as men. That's because the society is pulling back what men traditionally were, and they're trying to put women in those roles. Like BGS said anyway, you can't change nature. So eventually women are going to balk at that. They're going to say, that's not my job. My job is not to defend this house. Yes, I can go out and earn six figures and more, but society, my biology says that the individual I bed down with is supposed to have more than I am because he's supposed to provide. That's biology. So now that legislation, laws, mores, authorities have stepped in to disrupt that, you have a generation of men that are just clueless. And then they wonder why the rates of incels, if you will, are rising. Dating apps. Women are pursuing the men that are already actualized. So if you're a man and you have some things going for you, but you need to bridge the gap, like you said, David, who do they turn to? If you don't have uncles, older brothers, and when I say older brothers, I'm talking about where the young man is about 22, 23. You don't have somebody that's in their late 30s. You're never gonna get that information because that information is gone. You're not gonna be able to watch an old style movie like the Mac or something and learn that because that's not how it happens. You have to be able to have somebody that can take you by the hand, if you will, walk you through certain scenarios, see you in a situation to say, this is where you messed up. But what did I say? It's not what you said, it's what you shouldn't have just done. You should just sat there. Let it
And,
come to you. Sometimes you gotta let things come to you. Because I have, and I've benefited tremendously, sometimes just by just being me, not doing anything.
and the reason I say that because I'm thinking like, man, people need to probably have grants and stuff for this type of stuff because I mean it makes communities and stuff better when you have people with better understanding. Like a lot of it, we grew up. And I always used to say this. And I used to joke around. Even when I was like 18 and 19, I used to like BT and stuff like that. And videos was the destruction of our black communities.
Yeah.
And I used to say that to my brothers all the time. I mean, you kidding me, man? Hip hop and this and that. I say, man, this stuff is destroying our communities, whatever, because people are reading too much into it and not knowing that these people they're just trying to sell albums. They're just trying to get
Hmm.
paid, whatever. So I still be thinking it's a place that boys and stuff need to go to workshops and need to come and they need week by week it's a certain topic or whatever the case is. And I don't know, man. I get frustrated with the stuff, whatever, but
No,
I
it is
often think
unfortunate.
about it, but I
Okay,
just don't
so
move
this
forward
is the
with it.
thing. You get frustrated because you got three men on here that could instruct and do that. But it's almost like you see an issue and you have the solution, but you're not executing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything you're saying first, the grant and this, the three of y'all could do that. Y'all very strong, and they need more strong African American men that know how to be men. And I'm not talking about the ones, I don't care who get offended, they ain't here tonight. I'm not talking about the ones that put up fake programs and fake stuff and talk about they're implementing something. I'm talking about people that are actually doing something that has a substantial credibility of what they're doing, and it shows in their children, in their family, how they structured their family, and their beliefs in what they do, their financial, their character, everything. When somebody questions your character, it's hard for you to tell them anything because it's what you say and what you do.
Yeah, I tell people that's something I never worry. I tell people, like they say, Google me. I'm like, look, anything anybody wants to say about me, good, bad, or indifferent, I always tell people you can only say one or two things about me. You can either tell the truth, which I'll readily admit, or you can say a lie, which I don't even bother with addressing. I don't even dignify it with a remark because it is not necessary. I tell people for pretty much the last 10 to 15 years of my life, it's been very public. I've run for city council, school board 3 times, done mentoring programs. I've been in the public eye. I don't have any kids, never been arrested, even so much as even charged with the crime. So I always tell people, you can't character assassinate me. The only thing you can try to do is tear me down from a personal aspect, talking about I think I'm white or I want to be this, I want to be that. No, I'm me. Always have been, always will. I'm not bothered by what people say about me because when I walk into this building here, I rule. Nobody has nothing to say, and I don't give a fuck about what most people say.
He cussed too much.
Just
See, don't talk to Herb either because he cursed too much.
Hey, I'm me. I strategically use colorful metaphors. They say profanity. It's funny. They say, and I used to believe this. They used to say profanity is the attempt of a feeble-minded person to express himself forcibly. I used to believe that until one day I came across a situation. Then I realized why educated people use profanity so much. Profanity is the attempt of an educated person to get a feeble-minded one to understand them. Because if a person who's well-educated is walking down the street and he says, "Sir, can you please not do that?" And dude looks at him and says, "Yo, what are you gonna do?" He's gonna get more traction and say, "If you do that again, I'll fuck you up." Sometimes you gotta use a language to communicate something to somebody that they otherwise wouldn't understand if you use a different language.
Oh my God. Okay, so y'all know that it's 11:18 where y'all at. It's 10:18 here. And I'm usually in the bed by 9:30 now. Yeah, I'm on old people status. I'm in the bed, look,
You
Daddy.
got to
I'll be
liven
like,
it up.
you remember how I used to be on
Be a
Facebook
grown
late
woman
at
and stay
night?
up late with us.
Yeah.
I'm
You
usually
need
in the
that dude
bed
to
by
come through with that leisure suit on, whatever. Like, yo, baby,
you
we up
better not.
tonight.
Listen, by 8:30, I'm showered. My pajamas on, sitting here, moving from
Got it
here
on
to
now.
upstairs. I'm usually in the bed, knocked out by 9:30. I mean, sleeping hard. That's why I get up every morning at 4 or 5. Like, hey.
Woo.
So y'all got me up late.
Yeah, that's some good sleep. That's some good sleep. I probably need to get to bed that early, but I can't.
Listen, I enjoy it, and my family be laughing. They be like, "I called you at 10:30." I be like, "Don't do that." Ever since I was call me at 10:30. You better get me at 8:30. But yeah, I enjoyed talking with y'all tonight. You know, being the only female left on here by myself.
Hey man, people get. I will leave it at that.
I always notice that even on my panels, women be like, "You're a misogynist." I said, "Look up the term misogyny." hatred of women. If I hated women, why would I talk to you?
Yeah.
And then it was so funny. And it was Mahogany came up there, and she was like, "You decide. I heard you hate women." And she was like, "When the last? I just had to ask you this one time. When the last time you had sex?" I said, "The last time a woman asked me the last time I had sex, she was offering." So said, but then after a while, 30 minutes of talking to her, she was charmed out of her boots and actually donated. I was like,
Mm.
did we? I said, were you disrespected? No, I was pleasantly surprised. I said, I get that a lot from a lot of ladies.
I don't think you that. I think you're. I do think you're a butt sometimes.
I'm pure asshole, but I'm truthful.
I think,
I'm
and I'm
charming.
very honest. I think sometimes you say stuff. I think it's more of a defense mechanism, though.
It's not a defense mechanism. It's just a full frontal assault. You
Yeah.
got
So I
me.
think sometimes you are like that. Like it don't really bother me. Last time you was on it, it didn't really ruffle my feathers. I actually thought it was funny that it ruffled everybody else's feathers because
See, the problem with a lot of people when they get hurt, what I say, is because hit dogs holler. See, if it doesn't affect you, it's not going to affect you. But if it's talking about you, when it's singing to your soul, you're going to have a certain reaction to it. Like when I said, no woman can teach a boy how to be a man. The
Oh,
women who actually believed that, they were like, I
okay, so
said,
we not about to retract that. I don't want. I don't
oh,
want.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
well,
want to have.
somebody dropped
I
and
off
don't
the
want to have
panel
a
because I
pointed
said that.
conversation about
I
people.
said,
I don't
I
want to do
said,
that.
hey, guess what? All I gotta say is this one statement. Prove me wrong. I have yet to be proven wrong in that one. So hey, I mean,
And I mean,
I'm,
and I agree with that. I have three sons, and I cannot take any accolades or any contribution, acknowledgments of teaching them how to be men. Only thing I can say is that I definitely showed them that they gotta respect women and to get a
you
respect.
gotta raise a him. You could raise a good human being, but I can't raise a woman. The world doesn't look at me the same.
Yeah, I
I
can't
think
definitely can't raise.
the
I can't.
mostly the most of the things I've learned through my years of everything I've become and everything I will be, and I've noticed when it comes to leadership and knowledge, majority of our women in our community do not respect it because they didn't see their mothers or grandmothers respect it. Nor do they rarely hear it because a lot of women do not want men. You're one of the few exceptions. They don't want men to lead. They really want to keep the power for themselves. And when they actually have a man who doesn't need them but wants them,
mhm.
that scares them. That intimidates them. He doesn't need me to do anything, but he still wants me. Something's not right because they're not used to it. They're not used to it. They're never taught to be like, hey, this is what a fundamental man is. Oh, he's solving my problems. Usually it takes me 3 weeks to get over something that I could get over in 3 days.
You know
What,
what?
what's, what's going on? Maybe he solved my problem in 3 hours. Lord, help me, Jesus. What is this thing called? It's called a man.
Not with you.
uh,
I cannot with you.
it's
I
crazy.
think that some women just, I don't know. I don't want to talk about my sisters.
Sometimes you got to hit somebody on the head to make them understand.
I think some women, I made a comment a couple weeks ago on Facebook, and I had so many women that was coming at me. I said, I am so tired of seeing posts women going to weddings and they're like, I'm next, I'm next, I'm next. And I said on the post, remember Dave, you probably seen it when I said, how could you be next if you ain't even prepared for everything that comes along with the next? You can't keep a good house. You're not good with your finances. You ain't good in bed because you got so many bodies up under the bed. I mean, everybody want to be next, but are you prepared? Are you prepared for the sanctity of marriage or just the ceremony?
Yeah, that's the ceremony.
They want the
And
ceremony. They don't
those
want
Show.
the dude.
women got so offended. So what you saying? You don't never want to get married again? I said, I'm not speaking for me.
Oh, I bet you those ladies thought you were being a butt, huh?
Yeah, I said, no, I'm speaking for the ones
And
that
we're not talking about that butt. That's a conjunction between two sentences of thought.
whatever.
We're not talking about that butt that you put a comma in front of this to give a contrary statement.
Whatever.
Yes, 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 yes.
So
I,
yeah, they
I,
were very, very upset with me. One inboxed me and was like, "You just sound very bitter." I said, "I'm bitter now." I
and
said,
you know what she said in reply. Let's give the hood definition and interpretation. Bitch, who you talking about bitter? I was married, unlike you selfish heifer. Mm. And now we go back to proper lady speak.
"No,
Uh, we-
I didn't even engage with her like that because I was like, girlfriend, sweetheart, the guy that you're with is actually a level one of my close friends. So you go ahead and portray and do your Bill Cosby life on Facebook. No one's entertained but you."
Wow. She, she a church going lady, so you know when they really cuss you out, they be like, "I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm
Whatever.
gonna pray the hell out of for you. Like I'm gonna pray for you."
Yeah, but
I'm,
my thing is like, not that I do away with. Do I want to get married again? I do, but I'm not rushing down the aisles. Am I open minded to it? Yes. Am I cautious? Yes. I just don't want women to be sitting here like, oh, I can't wait to get married again. Oh, I just want to go. Because what happens is when you got in tune and so caught up in getting married, you end up settling and you end up accepting whatever. And that's for men and women. We time out for settling. You settle with some. It takes, listen, because I'm an elder, I've done weddings, funerals, whatever. It takes less than 10 minutes to marry somebody, but it can take 10 years or more to divorce them. Mm. We need to have more thought into what we're doing.
That's scary.
I'm just saying. I ain't mean to scare people, so y'all go ahead and get married. I'll even marry y'all.
Well, gang, I mean, we have one more talking point, but we could hold that over to next week. And that was talking about the 80-20 rule. And we could say that for next week. I mean, we can.
Say that for next week. I hate that conversation. It's so old.
It's so old, but is it really old? Because a lot of people still don't understand it.
The 80-20 rule, that's just so old.
They don't understand it because you still see people talk about they want 100% from someone when you know damn well that's not going to happen.
That's crazy.
So none of your girlfriends don't say any of that?
Oh, I don't know. My girlfriends really don't talk to me about stuff because they told me I think like a man. So, but they don't really have conversations with me about stuff like that because they be like, "Don't talk to her because you know what she gonna say." So they don't really have conversations with me about that.
Okay.
I think it's the 80-20 rule to me is stupid because, you gonna get in position that you might do 50 and the other person doing 50, or you might be doing 80 and the other person giving 20, and it might be 70 and 30. Every day something different because we're all evolving every day. So I hate when people be like, oh, you gotta give 80%. And then you only got 30% in you that day. So what's the problem? You don't have all of that, so the relationship go in. What's gonna happen? Let me know.
And and even with that 30% may have been 30% with no distractions, strictly focused on you for the last few hours, compared to someone that was with you all day and they were distracted by their phone, had to run out and do some things, and was never involved with you. But that 30% could have been something like, damn, he we really had his undivided attention for these last 2-3 hours. It could mean the world. So it depends on how
And you
people
gotta
take it.
understand it. Like, I like texting. I don't really like talking on the phone. And so for some men, they don't like that because they don't like texting. And so this guy was like, well, why don't you like talking on the phone? I said, because for one, I don't like to share or exploit my emotions. And on the phone, you hear my voice, the fluctuation of my voice and how I speak. You'll be able to engage with how I'm feeling, and I don't want you to. So for me, texting is safe.
So like how often but that's probably at an initial state when you're talking to somebody, when you first start talking to somebody, like when you into a relationship but y'all not living together. Does that really work for you, just texting?
No, if we're in a relationship, yeah, we have to engage. We're communicating. But I don't like sitting talking on the phone like that. Like that just drives me insane. I prefer us, if we gonna talk like that, we need to be in person.
I don't understand that. I mean, if you had a job and you talking on the phone all day or talking to different people, you may not want to be on the phone for hours. So
No.
you just have to pick your times and like, okay, we're gonna talk it. Not saying it had to be regimented, but at least something that keep everything balanced.
Right. Well, y'all have a good night. I'm about to crash.
All right, Netta, we appreciate you pulling up.
Love and happiness.
Yeah, we might cause you to oversleep. You might not be up at 5 tomorrow. You might be up at 7.
Nah, I trust you. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna get up and do my walk in the morning. I went to the store and I tried on a size 10 jeans and I felt very happy.
When you walking in the morning the other day, when it like dark,
It's dark here. It's 5 in the morning in Texas. It's
I'm just
dark.
saying, be careful. That's all.
Oh, I have my stuff on me.
She says she got that pew pew.
She said, I got this little 22. Who want it? Who want it? You're gonna be like, she like that dude in Harlem Nights. Put down that goddamn little piece of toy. God damn.
Nah, I don't do no 22s. I got brothers that's in law, so yeah.
She ain't got that work like you got Officer Charles. I'll be seeing that. I'll be like, it's crazy.
Nah, I ain't nothing. Officer Charles like
Until
my
you can
brother.
get two,
My
until you could get two, until you could get two headshots with a 12 gauge shotgun from 50 yards and two chest shots from 50 yards, then I might be sort of impressed.
Mhm.
I can't do that, but we can go to the range and we can work on that.
Yeah, well, I
We'll
take you to the
learn.
range, show you how to shoot. I just got my certification as a pistol instructor anyway, so hey, gotta make
Oh,
the
my
business.
brother is too. My brother teaches all the classes and
Now
both.
I'm going for CCW next week, instructor, and then rifle and shotgun. Yeah, basically, I'll pretty much instruct people on every goddamn small arms that's underneath artillery.
I
Hey,
got
did you
I
guys
got to
know
get with
this?
you on that.
They said here, if you pull your gun out, you can go and do jail time. You gotta shoot.
Yeah, that's like that everywhere. That's menacing.
Listen, they don't play here though. It's that instructor kept reiterating that over and over again. He was like, ladies, if you pull that gun out, you better shoot. You can get more jail time not shooting than shooting and defending. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, they don't play here. And everybody be carrying.
Hmm. Hey man, that's the time we live in now. Hey, you gotta have, but I haven't got into that world yet.
You should. Well, y'all have a good night. I don't yawn like 4 times already. That's terribly rude. My eyes are getting weaker and weaker.
All right, another thanks for you coming through. Talk to you next time, and
All
I'll
right,
be
see y'all
seeing you.
later.
All right, be good, be
Bye.
safe.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right, any other closing comments we can get out of here
All
tonight?
I gotta say, Whoa! Peace.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming through.
Man, I ain't got much to add. I'm gonna have to source the BGS's old group, BGS for Women, and start putting some of that stuff in the council score, because a lot of it is still relevant, even though it's few years old. There's always some lessons in there. I know he's been talking about doing a few books. And one of the things that tonight that we mentioned was the anima animus, for people that are unfamiliar with those terms and what they mean. Look at it like you would the yin and yang. There, one is the female component, the other is the male component, and they work together to help each other balance out uh, human emotion and thought processes. So that I know he's supposed to be doing a book on it. Also, his I can't remember the name of it right now. Forgive me for that. But he's supposed to be doing a book on that and another thing. And I know as soon as the show ends, it'll come to mind. But other than that, I have nothing else to contribute other than familiar with Frankie, that growth and understanding occurs in a gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
I'm looking at traveling BK, man. His comments: don't need a shotgun, just get a Glock 42, a Glock 43, Glock 42 on the waist. And yeah, I'm not into all that the gun life, and luckily Officer Charles is down here in Baltimore, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get with him on something, because we know what time it is. But overall comments for the show, good conversation, a lot of different insight, feedback, and we just need, like I said, keep having these conversations, keep talking, whether you have one gender talking about we're not dealing with men and men saying that. At the end of the day, man, I always keep saying we have to coexist. You just got to find the right person to coexist with and eliminate all the other stuff. And I think the people that's more successful is the ones that can coexist but don't have everybody in their backyard, and they handle their stuff from their end. But if you're someone that's always got to socialize and tell every aspect of what you got going on, then you always go have shortcomings. But again, good show. We still gonna pick up that 80-20 thing, because there's more variables to it to talk about than just the understanding that people think like, oh, the 80-20 rule is old, but I don't think people really fully understand it all. Even that 20% is key. It's key. So we probably gonna pick up on that next time with a couple other more talking points. But we out of here. Thanks for everybody who was in the chat, who came on the panel. BGS, Anetta's a regular. Officer Charles, he's been on here a few times. We're just gonna keep it moving, and we just got to keep having conversations in all of these different platforms to try to build and grow, because we learn something different each time. When you feel like you can't learn anything and you're done, shit, your ass might as well stay in the bed. Might as well just stay in the bed, whatever, because it's a lot of growth to be learned on a daily basis. That's it. We out. See you next time.
Is the name of the book that he's working on.
What'd you say?
The Octane Scale.
Okay. Oh, he didn't. Oh, I know he had mentioned that before. He didn't write that book.
No, BGS has got a lot going on. He's always appearing on panels, especially with Gigi. And Gigi, for those people who don't know, is the Green Gorilla. He's a professor of philosophy. So with him, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, and all the other stuff he has going with his grandkids, he's got a full schedule.
Who T. Hassan Johnson? Who is he about to be on Dr. Anwar's thing, or he already was on there? I thought I seen something.
Anwar have done any collabs? Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is a professor of Africanist male studies out of Fresno in California.
I I seen someone say he was going to be on their platform.
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. I would have to talk to Dr. Dunbar and see.
Yeah, I don't know if it was him. I was thinking it was him, but it was somebody that's kind of in that circle, whatever. That he was going to be a guest on their platform.
You very well could.
But all right, good people, everybody be safe, be great, and see you next time. And make sure you like and share the video, and please subscribe, and we're gonna keep it pushing in the counselor's corner. We out. Peace.